Hey everybody, I'm Faith with Fanfare. I'm Barry's new pre-show host. Barry will be coming up in a few minutes, but I have a couple of headlines to show you here in the pre-show. You're going to like this first clip. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is freezing immigration visas from 75 countries, including Somalia, starting on Wednesday. Check out this clip.
Visas to nationals of more than 6 dozen countries. According to a State Department memo first seen and reported on by Fox Digital. The change will begin January 21st and continue until the State Department conducts a reassessment of immigrant visa processing. The 75 impacted countries include Somalia, Russia, Afghanistan, Iran, Brazil, Egypt, Nigeria, Yemen, and more. The Trump administration paints the change as part of a sweeping effort to crack down on applicants likely to rely on public benefits. And the State Department points to its authority under the public charge provision of immigration law. The department wrote on X saying, quote, "The freeze will remain active until the U.S. can ensure that new immigrants will not extract wealth from the American people."
Kevin Hassett, who is widely thought to be the guy who will replace Jerome Powell as the new head of the Federal Reserve, has a strong view that it's a national security matter for the U.S. to have more control over Greenland.
Right. Well, first of all, I want to say that throughout the negotiations with the Europeans last year, you would have heard them say, oh, if we have a tariff, if we do what President Trump says, it'll be terrible for our economies, you'll tank our economies. And if you go back and look that as we've negotiated these great deals both for the U.S. and for Europe, then their economies have boomed, their stock markets have boomed. It's been amongst the better years ever for them, because basically they see that the U.S. right now is once again the shining city on the hill, that we're the engine of global growth, and President Trump has accomplished that really in just 1 year. So I think right now, with respect to Greenland, the president has a strong view that it's a national security matter for the U.S. to have more control over Greenland, and I'm confident that in the end he's going to go negotiate a deal that's great for us and great for our partners.
The libtards have gone beyond their normal insanity. They invaded a Christian church service. Former CNN host Don Lemon was the ringleader.
What do you think of this?
I mean, this is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship.
But there were folks who will say,
I have to take care of my flock.
Okay, but listen, we live in there's a constitution in the First Amendment to freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest.
Yeah. We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus, because that's the hope of these cities. That's the hope of the world, is Jesus Christ.
I want to be very respectful. Please don't push me, though.
We're here to worship Jesus.
Yes.
That's why we're here.
Yes.
Okay, that's why we're here. Okay. That's what we're about.
Don't you think Jesus would be understanding
we're about
and love these folks?
We're about spreading the love of Jesus.
But did you try to talk to them as a Christian?
No one is willing to talk.
Okay.
I have to take care of my church and my family, so I asked that you actually would also leave this building.
You don't want us to chronicle what happened?
Unless you're here to worship.
I'm always worship. I'm a Christian.
We're here to worship. Yeah. We're here to worship. Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
What would you do if this happened in your church? The pastor is right. It's completely unacceptable. Barry is going to talk about this in a few minutes, but first, a word from today's featured partner.
All right. We got
Hey
her.
everybody, I'm Faith with Fanfare.
Still working on the different buttons and stuff here to make sure I do it correctly. All right, so let me talk to you about our featured sponsor. Our featured sponsor today is Bearskin. I was laughing. I told Robin this morning, it's really funny. It's really, really weird that every time I get ready to do something with Bearskin, it ends up being cold. I mean, I don't know what it's like where you guys are. I'm seeing on television the Arctic blast of 30 degrees below zero and everything. We're not quite that bad, and I probably sound like a wussy for saying that. I woke up this morning and it was 50 degrees. It was cold outside. 50 degrees, and I had to put on my bearskin here to warm up. I hope you've heard by now about bearskin as much as I've been talking about these phenomenal hoodies. And it's a perfect timing with degrees of 14 below and everything else. The smart people I know are grabbing theirs right now, because when it's already freezing outside, you want the gear that actually keeps you warm. This thing absolutely keeps me warm. I know it's 50 degrees. Don't come at me. but it's cold for me down here. And right now, Bearskin is running a 60% off deal right now, so you can finally upgrade that sad excuse for a winter hoodie you've been suffering in. Unless, of course, it's one of the Trump hoodies that we provided. These hoodies are built for serious cold weather. It's got 340 GSM of bearskin fleece, which in other words is very, very warm. It's got 10 amazing pockets in places you wouldn't even think pockets would exist. I mean, what we're doing here, people calling me during the spot. I've got pockets here, I've got pockets underneath, pockets here. There's pockets everywhere on these bearskins. 10 pockets. It's got a nice, tight, muscular fit, and it even zips into a heavy storm rain jacket to turn into full winter waterproof armor. Whether you're into hiking, hunting, traveling, or just walking on the beach in the frigid temperatures of the Atlantic Ocean winds, like it is down here in Boca, or just hate being cold, this is the best hoodie you'll ever need and want. You'll get free U.S. shipping, fast delivery, and you're finally knitted out properly for the winter. And we got a couple more months. I don't know what the groundhog's going to do, so now might be the good time for you to go ahead and do it. So do yourself a favor. Text the word Barry to 36912 to lock in 60% off. I'll say that again. Text Barry to 36912 and you'll get a link sent straight to your phone so you can check it out later if you're busy right now. And when you shop with Bearskin, you're not just getting killer gear, you're also supporting the fallen outdoors and the Hope for the Warriors veterans programs. So don't wait until you're freezing to realize your hoodie sucks. Get your Bearskin now while it's 60% off. Text Barry to 36912. So I hope you guys liked my little new intro woman there. Her name is Faith. Little F, A-I-T-H. Faith, F-A-I-T-H. It's a way to get things warmed up, to get going here before we do the show, and it's a nice little intro, and I like it. I hope you guys like it. All right, anyway, let's get on with today's show.
One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
So just to let everybody know, I wasn't playing any games. That was a AI generated spokesmodel. I went through a number of different renditions. I ran it past Ashley, ran it past Robin for the final word. Is this one okay? And she's like, okay. The first one I had picked out was looking a little too sleazy. And so they said, no, that ain't gonna work. So Robin was okay with that one. And by doing that, here's what's going to happen by me using my AI spokesmodel. It'll get even better, the generation in terms of nuances and what they want to do and how she talks and everything. So I'm still training her, the machine, to really understand what the content is about. At the same time, you guys can see, wow, can you do that with AI? Yeah, I can do that with AI. And then I'm really going to scare you the next couple days. I am really going to freak you out because there's going to be a segment, and I'm not going to tell you which one. There will be a segment where you'll see Barry AI, Barry, Barry. There will be an entire segment with somebody else talking that looks like me. That's scary, that they actually can clone me. And just so you know, I've got sponsors who are like, yeah, we will pay you to have your AI person speak. So I'm showing you firsthand. I'm pulling the curtain back and showing you, hey guys, this is what AI can do. Yes, you can profit with AI with something as simple as a cloned me, my own little mini me. Actually, it'll be the same size. Then I'm really going to freak you out. And Barry, AI Barry, and Barry, real Barry, we're going to be in a split screen and we're going to be debating something. Wait until you see that. When I look to other Barry and like, hey, so what'd you think about what Trump said? Well, I think what Trump said was pretty cool. Oh, that's going to really freak you out. Yeah, you guys might go, oh my God, we need to put some blessing oil on the screen here because this is some crazy stuff. But I figured what a better way to initiate you into AI and make some people comfortable than just to show you. It's very innocuous. You can enjoy it, and you can use it in your business. There's so many different applications. This isn't gonna be an AI show because we got a whole bunch to talk about. A crazy amount of stuff to talk about. Before we dig into some serious, deep stuff, I just want to cover some things President Trump said because we got some things we're going to dig into that I guarantee you nobody else is talking about. Everything is superficial and BS. We're going to dig deep. Might step on some toes in here. Matter of fact, it ain't no might about it. We're going to step on some toes in here for sure. Affectionately step on your toes. Not just to make you mad like we did over the weekend, but I mean, now it's a time, now that you're mad, let me give you some righteous anger, and then let me give you some righteous anger so you can act on that righteous anger. You can no longer, after what we saw, you can no longer be a spectator. I'm going to tell you why in a second. All right, so President Trump posted this. He says, ICE is removing the most violent criminals in the world from our country and bringing them back home where they belong. Why is Minnesota fighting this? Do they really want murderers and drug dealers to be ensconced in their community? The thugs that are protesting include many highly paid professional agitators and anarchists. Is this really what Minnesota wants? The crooked governor and Congresswoman Omar, who married her brother, don't mind because it keeps the focus of attention off the $18 billion plus fraud that has taken place in the state. Don't worry, we're on it. I want to draw your attention to something President Trump said in this post that most people probably didn't pay any attention to or they didn't even see. And it's the theme of what I'm going to be talking about first in this show. Because what I've seen, and especially what I saw yesterday, it made me go back. This one was posted on the 18th. Today's the 19th. This was yesterday. And in here, he does something. He's asked a question. Do they really want murderers and drug dealers to be ensconced in their community? And he goes on, is this what Minnesota wants? I'm going to come back to that. I want you to keep those two questions in mind that he asked people in Minnesota. Is this what you want? Remember, somebody once asked those questions. And then he wrote this. It's important to know how we got here. The reckless open borders policy of Joe Biden led to the violent criminals that have gone into places like Minneapolis, which has forced ICE to go in and clean them up. All right, so that's some of the prominent posts he put about this whole thing. But this question here, is this really what Minnesota wants? I want you to imagine. Well, you don't even have to imagine. You can look on YouTube, you can look on Twitter, X, you can look on Facebook, wherever you go. And let me ask you this, all honesty. With all of the uproar that you've seen, all of the protesting, and right now I'm seeing a sit-in in Target, and we watch what happened in the church. How many protests, counter-protests, videos have you seen by people in Minnesota who have stood up and said, we're done. We are absolutely done. We've had enough. We live here. Because what I think, and I sincerely believe this, I think President Trump is waiting till Minnesotans answer this damn question. Is this what you want? Because right now, as I sit here in Boca and as he sits in Palm Beach, where life is good, we don't know the answer to that question. The only people who are bitching and complaining and demanding stuff, even for Pam Bondi's head, are people outside of Minnesota. Why aren't the people in Minnesota complaining and getting out in the street and saying, no, this has to stop, this has to end? Well, you know the answer. They're afraid. And if they're not afraid, then they'll say, that's not something I do. I'm a Christian. We don't act that way. You know, as big as a Christian as I am, and in my younger days, I wasn't as much so, but I still had beliefs. I remember telling you guys about a woman that I went to college with, great friend, nothing like what you think. Truly, it was one of the great friendships I had in college. And at one point, she got accosted, and I didn't understand, because she was like, you know, I want to let it go, until she saw him again and she pointed him out. But then I had another friend, and she got married to this guy. And one day she's at the other friend's house, and I walk in, hey, what's up? And she's sitting there with like cotton stuffed up her nose and a black eye. Actually, it was a black face. It was a black side of her face, where her husband had beat the shit out of her. And I immediately just went into a rage, and I called one of my buddies. I'm like, let's go. We got something to take care of. And I knew this kid was going to be playing basketball at this park. And I went to this park, and I grabbed him, and I shook him, and I started drilling on him. And I had my buddy just make sure none of his friends jumped in. Well, my buddy was watching his friends. He wasn't watching the woman. And she came running in and jumped all over me. Look, let him go. I love him. And I just turned to her and looked. Well, don't ask me to come help. Don't call me to come help you. Don't go to Jane's house the next time he lumps you up. Because if you don't want to take care of the problem, then I'm not going to step in and take care of it for you. You have to ask me. You have to say, hey, I need some help. This guy keeps beating me up. I'm not just going to go find some guy and just start lumping up on him. You guys have watched many episodes probably of Law and Order, and they're like, the woman gets abused or assaulted, and like, okay, we need to do a rape kit, and we need to, no, I don't want to press charges. What do you mean you don't want to press charges? Look what he did. No, I'm just going to go home. Do you know most women don't press charges? There is something in the psyche that where people get offended, they repel and want to get in a cocoon and not fight back. And I hear so many people in chat and things of this nature saying, man, that happened with me, here's what I would do. And I say to you, until someone puts their hands on your throat, until someone does something to you, you don't know what you're going to do, how you're going to respond, because you haven't been trained to respond. You know, you guys know I played football. My grandson's playing football, and you go to practice, and you tackle, you learn how to block. And the biggest teacher is repetition. Because when that situation happens, you got to recognize it and act. You don't want to think, should I chase him this? No. I see it. I've been trained. React. I see it. I've been trained. React. Unless someone's put their hands on you, unless you've had to pull the gun out of a holster, I don't think most people could shoot somebody. It's a whole lot different than saying, I would blow him away. Then if you're in that situation, what would you do? People don't know how to react because they've been trained not to react. The repetition is on the other side. The repetition that most of us grew up with is to not react. Turn the other cheek. Keep turning the other cheek. Turn the cheek over and over and over again. Oh, don't do that. Don't lose your religion. What if I told you the entirety of what you're seeing right now is based upon taking advantage of your beliefs? What if I told you what you're seeing right now is because of your beliefs? What if I told you they've been trained to take advantage of your belief? You watched that clip with Don Lemon inside the church. And inside the church, he's already invaded the church. Then he has invaded the personal space of the pastor. And you saw the pastor, going like this. And the pastor wasn't comfortable with some guy he didn't know in his face. And he starts to separate. And as he starts to separate, Don Lemon tells him, don't push me. And what did he do? He put his hand down. You don't know this guy. What do you mean put your hand down? Don't push me. Oh, can't do it. No. You're in my church. In fact, I'm giving you the stiff arm. Get the F away from me. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're capable of. But instead, you put the arm down. And then he used his beliefs against him. You're a Christian, right? Aren't you worried about how people are? And of course, at that point, it feels uncomfortable to the Christian. It feels uncomfortable to the pastor because people are looking at him and he doesn't want to be unchristian. The left knows that. The left has been trained in it. You haven't been trained to counter that messaging. And thus, you succumb to that messaging. And thus, the people in Minnesota are sitting at home being spectators. Meanwhile, the president is asking, is that what you want? Is that how you expect to live? Do you want these people invading your town, stealing your money? Is that what you want? Call me. Tell me. Come in. I need help. No one's doing it. No one's doing it. Why? Because they've been trained to accept, to look the other way. What they're doing, I don't want to lower myself. I don't want to lower my standards. Well, until you can recognize the devil, we all pray against it, but until it shows up, you don't know what to do about it. All of us have read the Bible and gone to church for some people for decades. And then when the devil shows up, they don't know what the hell to do. That to me is just complete insanity. It's on your door, never mind, on your doorstep. It busted into the church. Da-da-da. Hey, you effing this, effing that. Oh, let's run away. Men ran away. Men with children and wives ran away from the very thing they're in church to preach against, to pray against. They ran away. Somebody else needs to take care of this. I got to go take my kids home or something. All right. Let me show you what I'm saying and prove it to you.
Most people have never heard of Saul Alinsky, but he is the godfather of modern political manipulation. His book, Rules for Radicals, became the manual for the left, not to persuade communities, but to manipulate them. Alinsky called himself a community organizer, a nice-sounding phrase, but his true role was as a community manipulator.
Now, as you're hearing this video, I'd love for you guys in the chat right now to tell me, and SV can look at it, how many of you have ever heard of Saul Alinsky, and how many of you have ever heard Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals? And then, how many of you know who are some of Saul Alinsky's prime pupils? We're going to find out what you know.
Engineering perceptions, organizing rage, and teaching radicals how to seize power. His rules were not about debate. They were about psychological warfare. Rule 13 says, pick the target, freeze it, personalize it, and polarize it. Go after people, not institutions. People hurt faster than institutions. That is exactly what has been done to Donald Trump and the MAGA movement for nearly a decade. Hillary Clinton was one of Alinsky's biggest admirers. She wrote her Wellesley thesis on him, exchanged personal letters with him, and absorbed his philosophy. His tactics, ridicule, demonization, and division became the foundation of her politics, and later Obama's as well. Alinsky opened Rules for Radicals with a dedication not to God, not to liberty, but to the devil himself.
Rules for Radicals, dedication page.
Lest we
forget, at
first
least
radical known to man who rebelled against the establishment, and did it so effectively that he at least won his own kingdom. Lucifer. His philosophy was rebellion against morality itself. Look around. Every indictment, every smear campaign, every attempt to isolate and polarize Trump and his supporters is not random. It's the Alinsky playbook, weaponized against the one movement that threatens the globalist agenda, MAGA. This isn't conspiracy theory. This is documented fact, written in Alinsky's own book, embraced by Hillary Clinton, and deployed against you. They call it community organizing. We call it what it is, psychological warfare. And when the mask slips, you see the devil they serve.
Take the business on the hereafter. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. I've never seen the evidence one way or the other. I don't expect to see it during my lifetime. But if there is, I suppose given a choice, I think I would pick hell. The reason I'd pick hell is because that's where all the have-nots are. You know, the currency of the realm shifts. Over here it's money, over there it's virtue. But either way, if you haven't got it, you're stuck. And I've spent all my life with the have-nots. And once I got into hell, well, I'd start organizing, just like I do down here. And then I'd be in heaven personally, you know, because this is the thing that gives me the greatest happiness in life. And look out, heaven, here we come. I'm sure there are a lot of grievances that people down there have that should be worked out one way or another. Now, I suppose another thing which causes a lot of hate, real hate on me, is it isn't so much what I say, it's the fact that I say it out loud. These are the things that people know, But it isn't considered tactful to talk about it, you know. It's sort of like doing your toilet in public. Well, life's too short to horse around that way as far as I'm concerned. And I think that things would be a lot better if a lot more people did their toilet out in public.
Things would be a lot better if people did their pooping in public. In case you want some more information on Saul Alinsky, he 1909 to June 12, 1972, was an American community organizer and writer. He is generally considered to be the founder of the modern community organizing. He is often noted for his 1971 book, Rules for Radicals. In the course of nearly 40 years of organizing, Alinsky received much criticism, but also gained much praise from many public figures. His organizing skills were focused on improving the living conditions of poor communities across North America, and in the 50s, he began turning his attention to improving conditions in the African-American ghettos, beginning with Chicago and then later New York, California, Michigan. You know, the same things, the same hellholes that are now. Because he wasn't truly about fixing anything. His ideas were adopted in the 1960s by some, U.S. college students and other young counterculture era organizers. He used them as a part of their strategies for organizing on campus and beyond. Time magazine wrote in 1970, it's not too much to argue that American democracy is being altered by Alinsky's ideas. William F. Buckley said Alinsky was very close to being an organizational genius, and then on and on and on, and then Clinton and Obama became acolytes. I want to show you something, because that's just a little bit of a bio. If you've never read the book, let's talk about the book that is now pretty much the Bible for what you're seeing happening and what's going on. It was called Rules for Radicals. And in the book, there were like 9 or 10 rules for these radicals, 9 or 10. And it's very easy to look at these books here. I'm going to go to another screen so I can blow it up here as I follow along, because it's so small on there. So if you see me looking away, it's because I'm looking over here at a bigger screen. All right, so number 1, power is not only what you have, but what the enemy thinks you have. Power is derived from 2 main sources, money and people. Have-nots, which is what they all call themselves, must build power from flesh and blood. Sound evil? It gets worse. Rule number 2, never go outside the expertise of your people. It results in confusion, fear, and retreat. Feeling secure adds to the backbone of anyone. So they only talk about this. If you've noticed, that's why the Democrats only talk about this one thing. Whatever that one thing is, that's it. Don't go out the expertise of this. The Seditious Six, they talked about the rules of military. Don't go outside this box, because you'll confuse the other nuts. So right now, everything you see, whether you have to lie, obfuscate, or anything, is about ICE being bad. Because anybody can understand that. They don't understand the other stuff. All right, so let's continue. Number 3, whenever possible, go outside the expertise of the enemy. Look for ways to increase insecurity, anxiety, and uncertainty. All right, so you guys don't know about this, and so we are going to, as much as possible, go outside your expertise, because no one's explaining it to you. So you can't combat what you don't know. This stuff is ingenious, evil. Number 4. And this is the big one. This is the one you guys need to write down and understand specifically. This is it. This explains everything you're seeing in Minnesota. Make the enemy live up to its own book of rules. Notice he doesn't name what that book is. Their strategy is to make the enemy, you and me, live up to its own Bible, its own book of rules, the ultimate book of rules. We're going to use it against you. If the rule is that every letter gets a reply, then send 30,000 of them and then make them reply 30,000 times. Bog them down. If there's a rule that says when this happens, you have to do this, well, then let's just make sure that we exploit the rule. If the rule says you must turn the other cheek, keep smacking them cheeks. If the rule says we need to be this way or that way, then count on it. Yeah, hey, you're a Christian, right? Oh, pop, pop, pop. Oh, hey, you're a Christian, right? Make them have to live by the rules that they want to live by. See, they count on Christianity being our own prison. They count on it. You're seeing it. You're a Christian, right? And there's another video out there where one of the people said, look at you with your jewelry on. Don't you care about the poor peoples in Somalia? Look at the car you're driving. Don't you care about the people in Somalia? What are you doing in this expensive restaurant? Don't you care about the Somalians in Minnesota? Because your rules are what we need to exploit. You've made the rules. Now you got to live by them over and over and over. I don't care how many times you got to turn your cheek. I'm going to keep smacking it. Why? Because I know your rule is keep turning the other cheek. You can kill them with this, it goes on to say. You can kill them with this because no one can possibly obey all of their own rules. Did you see that? That's actually in the book. You can kill them with this. They can't respond. There's nothing they can do. They are going to go running out of the church with little Billy and the wife and not say anything back because, oh no, we can't do anything. Because hey, we're on church grounds here. We can't just have a brawl here on church grounds. Why not? It's the rules. What rule? Well, we got to turn the other cheek and just be better people. And I know, like I said, I'm stepping on some toes because everybody's like, well, we just can't. You're saying it to yourself right now. Come on, let's be honest. There might be some people in chat going, but Barry, what are you advocating for? I'm not advocating for anything. I'm telling you what they're doing to you. It's up to you to decide how you're going to react. I'm not the one in that situation. I don't live in Minnesota. Ain't nobody walked into my church. Nobody walked into my restaurant. So it's not Barry telling you anything. I'm telling you what they're doing to you, and they're willing to kill you with your own rules. So now that's something each one of you have to think, because when that gets presented on your doorstep, when that evil arrives, when that evil starts kicking in doors saying, ha ha, can't do anything to me, you're a Christian. You need to start talking to your pastors and saying, wait a second, what? Matter of fact, if you go to church Sunday and they don't talk about this, leave the church. I will say that. This should be the first thing on people's minds next Sunday, if not this past Sunday. Hey, what are we going to do? The deacons should be meeting. Everybody should be meeting. What do we do if these nuts show up in our church? I told you, this is some toe stepping on stuff here because you need to start thinking, I'm in the game, I'm not a spectator. Did you notice how many people just sat there? Just sat there. And you didn't know. None of them knew. Here's what's really scary. Not a single one of those people knew if any of those people were armed. And they sat there. They sat there. They didn't have a plan. They haven't practiced their reactions. What do you do if you're confronted with evil? if it's somebody putting their hands on your neck, if it's somebody kicking in your front door, if it's somebody getting on your hood of your car, or it's somebody invading your church, what's your plan? Well, as far as they're concerned, you ain't got one. You can kill them with it because no one can possibly obey all of their own rules, except for the fact it's not our rules. It's what the Lord told us. And so right now, there's Christians all over this country, especially in Minneapolis, who've got some serious praying and decision making that has to take place. I can tell you for one, if I'm sitting in church with my wife or if my grandkids are with me and I see a bunch of people I don't know and they start coming in screaming with their clang-dangers and fandanglers, plan A goes into effect right then and there. It's not, this isn't the plan. Honey, what are they doing? I don't know, honey. Well, what are they doing over there? They're on both sides of the church and they're just running in here, honey. What do we do? Hell no. Ain't gonna happen. In fact, it doesn't happen now. When we go into a restaurant, Robin knows where to sit, how to sit, where should I sit. It's common. We know it. It's just the hostess will bring us in, and the hostess will put the napkin down or something, and Robin will say, no, we're sitting this way. Why is that? Because we've practiced it. Because we already know what's going to happen. When I sit down, I want to be facing the door, and I want her to know what the closest exit is. Every single time. We don't even have to think about it anymore. Go into a movie theater. All right, there's the door, and we can go this way. Okay. I don't let those rules confine me anymore. I even go as far as, can this table be flipped over? It only takes me a second. I sit there and go like that. That's it. Just want to know if I have to flip the table for protection. Have you done that? Have you walked in and sat in a restaurant and sat there and thought to yourself, if people come in, what do I do? Because if you haven't, you're already toast. And it only took me, I don't know, maybe a week or so to get used to it. And I know now I need to see how thick this table is. And if I have to flip it to protect us until sometime whatever we're going to do, then you do what you got to do. You remember seeing a movie, I think it was Born Identity, and they go to lunch and she's talking to Jason Bourne, and he's like, there's a guy sitting over there. He's reading a paper, but he doesn't have his glasses on. The glasses are in his coat pocket. His glasses were sitting here, but he wasn't reading them. She's like, how the hell did you know that? I saw it when I walked in. You ever seen the movie The Equalizer with Denzel Washington? In one of the movies, he knows these guys are trying to come and get him, and a guy comes in from the electrical, he's got an electrical guy's uniform on, and he looks at him and he goes, okay, so how many guys are there? 2 or 3? Just need to know. It's like, what are you talking about? Your hands. You don't have the hands, the calluses that a guy who works on electrical wires would have. Because you train yourself to look in these situations. So I realize I may be scaring you guys, but do you know how much planning they put in place to go into that church? Knowing full well, here's a whole bunch of vulnerable people with their backs to the door. See, the altar, the pulpit is always that way, and the door is back there. Every person you see will never see it coming, unless there's somebody planted somewhere who's keeping an eye on who's coming in. See, churches don't feel they need the type of thing you walk through at the airport. And these guys know it. These guys know it. You can kill them because no one can possibly obey all of their own rules. That's a big one. Rule number 5, ridicule MAGA, racist, xenophobe, homophobe, blah, blah. Ridicule is man's most potent weapon. There is no defense. It's irrational. It's infuriating. It also works as a key pressure point to force the enemy into concessions. Well, I don't want to be called a racist. I don't want people labeling me as a homophobe or a maggot. Why? Why don't you want to be labeled as a racist, homophobe, xenophobe, deplorable, maggot? Why does that bother you? I don't even let people who call me the N-word bother me. It doesn't work on me. It will get literally no emotion because as soon as I worry about emotion, then I'm not on my game. I'm not going to let you get me all upset because if I'm worried about the words you're saying and everything else, I can't react or I can't be proactive. So I don't care. I'm just looking at you. You can call me the N-word all you want. You can call me a racist. You can call me MF, whatever. I'm just looking at you. If you notice some of those cops when they sit there and these people are screaming them right in the face, and then they hit them with the pepper spray because the words don't matter. I'm waiting for a signal that tells me at some point you stepped over the line. Maybe you've gotten too close. I don't know, zap. And go scatter away. Oh my God, I can't believe he did that to him. I can't believe he actually did that to him. That's because, number 5, ridicule is a man's most potent weapon. There is no defense. It's irrational. It's infuriating. It's a pressure point. These are things that they're trained on, but you're not. Number 6, a good tactic is one your people enjoy. This is where, this is kind of real evil. They'll keep doing it without urging and come back to do more. They're doing their thing and will even suggest better ones. And they get the black garb and they start having fun doing these evil things. It starts being their entertainment. The umbrellas and the people bringing the broiling pan as they don't even know what they're doing. It's just fun. It's fun now. It's fun for the politicians on the left to call people names and all the things they say because it's a good tactic and we enjoy it. It's fun calling you people this. Number 7, we're still going. A tactic that drags on too long becomes a drag. Don't become old news. Well, I would take that a further to say, if the news stopped covering it, it would go away. Every time I hear Jacob Fry or somebody in Minnesota tell me about how, if they just stop this, it'll be peaceful. No, it's an easier way. If y'all stop covering it, if you stop with the cameras, it goes away. It no longer is sufficient. The efficacy has dissolved. It has dragged on too long where now nobody cares. That's why you don't see any George Floyd riots. It's past its usefulness. That's why there will be another one in the near future. There's always another one. Once it goes too far where people no longer care, then it goes away. You want to make it no longer care? Stop putting it on television. Nobody in Iowa would know that people in Minneapolis are acting a fool. Nobody in South Florida would know if it wasn't on television. I had said, I don't even want to carry it anymore, but people kept deluging me with emails. I'm like, I don't care. I don't live in Minnesota. The only reason I'm talking about it today is because it affects our clan, meaning you here in Fanfare, because you're Christian, and I want you to know they're doing it because you're Christian. Not because they hate the religion, but because they know you can't live up to it. We're humans. We fail all the time. I swear. Some people, step out on their wives. Some people don't treat their mom correctly. The 10. The 10. There's 10 of them. Thou shalt not do all this stuff. Oh man, I just blew through number 5. No, you can't possibly live up to the 10. Hopefully you're not doing number one. You're not killing anybody. But the other ones are small. Thou shalt not steal. I wonder if I should take this out of the supply room. Thou shalt not lie. Thou shalt not covet. Ooh. We can't. We're prone to failure. And as everybody knows that we're prone to failure, there's only one man who ever walked on water. They know it too. You can't possibly live up to what you believe. Until you believe, we're not perfect. See, that would be the get out of jail card. And I'm not saying you plan to break your beliefs, but if you snap or you react, Lord, I'm sorry. I should not have done that. I apologize. Please forgive me. But you got to react because they count on you not reacting. Number 8, keep the pressure on, never let up. Keep trying new things to keep the opposition off balance. As the opposition masters one approach, hit them from the flank with something new. You ever notice how the messaging from some of these people just morphs and changes because they realize people figure out this part? And then now we got to talk about this. Hey, there's no fraud. No, Somalis are good people. Oh, you shot this woman. Wait a second. Can we go back to the fraud? Oh, no. Can we go back to the Learing Center? Oh, no. Now we're talking about this. Well, why are we not talking about the fraud? Oh, this is newfangled, fandangled thing here. We got to be talking about, this woman getting shot. Thank God she got shot. We could actually protest over this. There's nobody protesting over the fraud. We're the good people who no longer want this to happen in their community or their country. See, that's a national issue. We all can bitch about that. Hey, we're done with it. The fraud. And I guess you could say, your vote is your protest ain't good enough. You can't be a participant. You can't be a spectator. You got to participate. I've got how many more here? Let's see here. We've got 4 more, but let me see where your head is at this point and how you're taking some of these rules and understanding. If you haven't heard these before, it can be kind of intimidating and confusing. All right, let me take some comments. Where are you guys at? I bind and rebuke all evil in the name of our nation, Jesus, holy name, call them all down. Right now, I'm not concerned about fraud. I'm just concerned about keeping warm and healthy until spring 2026. Wow. Wow. Rules for radicals are ways to weasel out of punishment for crimes. We can't plan on sinning because we know we can't. We can't plan on sinning because we know we can repent. Paul explains that in Romans. We can defend ourselves. Is it a sin to defend yourself? Is it a sin to make sure that your family and loved ones are safe in a church? Is that a sin? Is it a sin if somebody does something to you to respond in kind or greater? See, I was always a person that never wanted to fight. Robin will tell you this, is because I would say fortunately, because it helped me with my quickness and my speed. I took martial arts and kung fu in conjunction with football. Because as a lineman, you have to be able to do things with your hands. You have to be able to move people away as they're trying to come at you, the different techniques to keep their hands off you. If you watch an NFL game and you see guys, they're doing swim techniques, they're going over the top, they're doing arm rip, all kinds of different things you have to learn with your hands. And you may have to be instinctive about it. It's not something you can learn during the middle of a game. You've had to practice it over and over for years to know that if somebody comes at you. I taught Robin something once, and I said, if someone were to choke you, and this is how someone's hands look, and they're choking you, what are you doing with your hands? Remember, because if they got two hands on your neck, what are you doing with your hands? And there's so many different moves that you can do because you've got two free hands. But so many people will never, ever do them. See, number one thing you can do to somebody that most people will never do, because, you got two hands free, is you grab a hold of that person like this, and you put both of these thumbs into their eye sockets. And you don't stop putting that pressure until you've gouged out eyes. And right now, some of you are like, what? Yeah, you're not prepared to do it. Put your hands around my neck and see if you're walking out with sunglasses. You're going to stop. That's just one. And so it became so reflective to me that I would avoid fighting. I don't want to engage with you because there is no off switch. I am not here to do battle with you. I am here to end you. I will do whatever it takes to incapacitate you. Because the idea with a fight or anything of that nature isn't the same as boxing in a ring. We're talking survival. So only one of us is going to get up if you get in a fight with me. And Robin has seen that firsthand. What the heck was that? Firsthand. My arms to defend myself and my family are not Christian. Somebody goes, I understand. Yeah, I understand. I had to do someone that was about to kill me. How did you know that person was about to kill you? See, we're getting deep here because she said that person was about to kill me. See, to me, I assumed if you come towards me or you come towards someone I love, that you're coming to do that kind of end result damage. I have to assume that we're not just in a fight. Remember what you were taught as a kid? Oh, that's not fighting fair. What the hell is fighting fair? I'm not in a competition. We're not in a wrestling match. I'm in a boxing match. I'm in a street. There is no fighting fair. That was the first thing my guy taught me. He goes, forget everything you heard about in boxing rings or wrestling matches. And what's that? There is no such thing as a fair fight. You're only there to win it. Oh. By any means frickin' necessary. I'm sorry. That's how I was brought up. That's how I was trained. Am I lethal? Yeah. And I've had to learn, even in my old age, don't engage. Don't engage. Don't engage. You can keep calling me names. Hey, yeah, N-word. Yeah, fatty. Yeah, whatever. Just keep your walking. Because once that happens, all hell is going to break loose. Boom. You're done. Or even worse, put your hand on the wife. That's even worse. All right, so let's go to the last four rules here. Number 9, the threat is usually more terrifying than the thing itself. Imagination and ego can dream up many more consequences than any activist. So if you think we're going to do something, if the threat is more terrifying than what we actually did, you just saw that in the church. Those people were paralyzed. They ran. The threat was more terrifying than it is itself. I mean, you just saw this stuff happen in real life. Number 9, the threat is usually more terrifying than the thing itself. Oh my God, they've invaded our churches. We must flee. Why? Well, because you don't know what they have. You don't know why they're there. The threat was more terrifying than what they actually did. You overestimated your opponent. Number 10, if you push a negative hard enough, it will push through and become a positive. I mean, that's sort of like what, what's the guy's name? Goebbels said during back in Hitler, tell a lie enough and it will become true. Violence from the other side can win the public to your side because the public sympathizes with the underdog. Are you not seeing that? Is number 10 not one of the ones they went, oh, all right, activate. We got number 10. They shot Renee Good. They shot Renee Good, number 10. Okay, so that's what they did. And violence from the other side can win the public to your side because the public sympathizes with the underdog. Oh, the big bad ICE guys, they went and killed somebody. Now we can activate number 10. And the news and everybody else went along with it and helped them activate number 10. Number 10, the price of a successful, no, that was number 10. If you push a negative enough, it will push. Violence from the other side can win the public to your side because the public sympathizes with the underdog. Oh, she didn't run the guy over. I watched it. I actually watched the guy try to run it. No, it's not what you saw. You have to sympathize with the underdogs now. All of this is just some serious psychoanalytical craziness. Let's look at number 11. The price of a successful attack is a constructive alternative. Never let the enemy score points because you're caught without a solution to the problem. Hope now you're reading this if you've never seen these rules before and realize that's exactly what they're doing. They already have a handbook. And their handbook is beating our book. And finally, probably their most important tactic, pick the target, freeze it, personalize it, and polarize it. Cut off the support network and isolate the target from sympathy. ICE people are demons. ICE people are bad. Orange man, bad. Maggots, bad. Go after people and not institutions. People hurt faster than institutions. See, that was what I posted this weekend. That was their big mistake. Their big mistake is they failed on number 12. You could have personalized the pastor out at the supermarket. It's personal. You could have freezed and personalized it and polarized it by going at the pastor and his wife on vacation. Where you failed was you don't go after the institution. They kicked in the doors of a church, and immediately every single Christian in this country could relate. You may not relate to the pastor getting accosted at Walmart. Oh, look what they found the pastor in the aisle of, and they went after him. Shame, shame, shame. Well, that sucks. However, the mistake was, and whoever planned it completely screwed up. They went in the church. And as far as everybody else across the country, that was like, nah, it's a bridge too far. Nah, sorry. You went after the institution, which immediately we all felt. We all go to churches on Sunday. We all know what the heck we're doing. We know why we're there. It's not about any one person. They thought they were attacking the pastor and the congregation. They messed up by not realizing you attacked the institution. You attacked the church. And because of that, that's why people are just freaking out all over the place. Because now it's become the institution, the institution that every single one of us that are Christians, whether it's a Catholic, Presbyterian, Baptist, that's what they screwed up. That was their big mistake. You guys stepped over the line this time, big time, big time. All right, so I'm going to take some comments after that, and we will, what am I going to go to here? I'm going to go talk to you guys about Lear Capital. So I'm going to go to this screen real quick. I want to show you something that's going on. And if you guys have any questions about this stuff, let me know. I'll talk to you about it. I want you to see this. This is a silver price. Let me refresh. Right now, $94.45. $94.45. And if you see the dips over the weekend, I got to bring the chart up. Let me show you the chart. If I bring that up so you can see the chart, everyone's beginning to realize now the silver market closes for the weekend. And when the silver market closes for the weekend, the banks go in and start manipulating, trying to drive the price down. And they keep trying to drive the price down, and then all of a sudden comes Monday and reality sets back in. And so if you looked at a historical chart here, I mean, let's look over the last month, you will see it dives down and everything else, and it dives down. It's been diving down last 5 days, boom, so, and then it comes right back up. And so today we're at 94.42, on our way to 100. I know. A lot of people were afraid and didn't get in early, but let me just tell you right now, I'm not about pointing fingers or anything like that. I just want to make sure people have the information. And gold is doing pretty much the same thing as well. It dips on the weekends and then pops back up on Monday. And I don't want to say it. I won't say it. I told you so. I think I just said it. Sorry, not sorry. But I told you for a year now, along with Kevin Demerit from Lear, that gold and silver were going to reap the benefits of excessive money printing, overvalued markets, and global unrest. And damn if we don't have that right now. You can foresee this thing happening. You know what's going on with Iran. You know what's going on with Greenland. You know what's going on in Minnesota. It's happened. It continued to happen. And then the other part is all the shorting that the big banks did. And of course, the old stuff with the Federal Reserve. And now, boom, both have soared to all-time highs. I hope you called my friends at Lear Capital and bought some. And if you didn't, trust me, it's not too late. Experts are predicting even higher prices ahead. If I had told you 100 2 weeks ago, you're like, no way, 100? It could hit 100 very soon. Driven by geopolitical uncertainty, inflation concerns, a weaker U.S. dollar, and strong industrial demand for silver, the whole AI thing, with forecasts suggesting gold could go as high as $5,000 and $6,000 an ounce, and silver potentially reaching, and this is conservative, $100 to $150 per ounce. That's insane from where we've been. That's incredible. That's why you're seeing banks and investors move out of the dollar and into gold and silver. Morgan Stanley changed their 60-40 portfolio in terms of how much they're going to have in cash and how much they're going to have in metals to 60-20-20 to include 20% in precious metals. That's an absolutely huge repositioning. Even with markets hitting all-time highs, Warren Buffett has been selling hundreds of millions of Apple shares. They get it. They know what's coming. Is it time for you to get in? Only you can make that decision. Get yourself some gold and silver. Call the best in the business. Call Lear Capital. It's a free call. There's no obligation to purchase, just education, all kinds of reports that you can download on protecting and growing your wealth with gold and silver. And I'm sure there are many of you that have called and haven't purchased yet for whatever reason that may be. I understand there's higher minimums now because that should tell you something. The demand is off the charts. Don't make the same mistake twice. Now is the time to get some silver, get some gold, either one, and they'll ship it directly to you or shift it some dollars in your retirement accounts over to physical gold and silver, like from your IRA or something. It's easy to do. I've been extremely satisfied with Lear's knowledge, especially their service and their pricing. I urge you to call today and learn more. Call Lear at 800-601-5430, 800-601-5430, or go to learberry.com to learn more. And full disclosure, I am a customer and couldn't be happier with what we're seeing in this market right now. When you see this kind of stuff, it's like, OMG, it's January. What's ahead in the future? Give them a call. I will be right back.
back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Oops. What the heck just happened? Wait a second.
The Attorney General has been on this from the moment it happened. There are already 2 prosecutors from my office on their way to Minneapolis, and they'll be there this morning. We have an FBI team assembled and local prosecutors as well. This is going to get the highest attention from the Department of Justice because there is no more sacred right in our Constitution than the right to assemble and pray to God. And there are federal laws that protect that right. And what happened here was a shameful exercise of virtue signaling, disruption, fear, terror. You can see children in this video being ushered out the back by their terrorized mothers. And this is illegal. And I want to add that the Biden administration prosecuted people peacefully praying outside abortion clinics for much, much less.
All right, so you guys know, in case you don't know, there's something called FACT, F-A-C-T, which makes it illegal to bother people in houses of worship. Let me look here pretty quick and see if I can bring up the facts of this and show it to you. And you can look it up as well if you haven't had a chance to look it up yet. Now might be a good time to do so. 1 second here. Let me bring it up on this screen and we can go with it. All right. It's called the FACE Act. I'm sorry, the FACE Act. And key provisions of the FACE Act are: the law makes it illegal to intentionally, quote, injure, intimidate, or interfere with or attempt to do so with any person, but more important, by force, threat of force, or physical obstruction, because that person is exercising their First Amendment right to religious freedom at a place of religious worship. It's pretty cut and dry. It's black and white. When I keep hearing all this stuff about investigations, the investigations that need to be happening is how many guys do you have to round up these people, because what they did is completely against the law. They put it's so funny to me how many of these laws that they put in under Biden are coming back to bite them in the ass. They put that in there, and you know, it's funny. Here, look at it.
Was created, and so we take protecting that very seriously, especially the Civil Rights Division at the Department of Justice. And they have a plethora of federal statutes by which they can pursue their investigation and possibly bring charges.
So there's this exemption when it comes to protests in public spaces. Americans are allowed to do that, you know, within limits. They're not allowed to behave violently. That's obviously a crime. So there's no such distinction, right, when we're talking about houses of worship across the country, meaning it is not a defense for these protesters like others in Minneapolis to say, well, we didn't, you know, we were just exercising our First Amendment rights. There was no violence.
Well, the key is, were they interfering and impeding that right? And so what does the worshiper think? What was that worshiper feeling? So if you're sitting in that church and someone, you know, and those videos are still coming out, so we have to wait for the rest of the footage. But let's just say, for instance, that someone is yelling, and when they go into that church, and they're not just yelling chants, but they're yelling things that the parishioner could find scary. Well, that person may think, well, I feel threatened. I feel threatened that this person could possibly commit harm, physical harm against me. I certainly feel intimidated to exercise my right to worship. Like, I'm not going to be singing the hymns anymore because there's a crazy person next to me screaming at me. I don't feel comfortable being a worshiper in my own house of worship. That's what the courts are going to look at if, in fact, charges are brought at some point.
Hey, I saw a picture. What do you mean if? What the hell do you mean if? If charges are brought. You do not have a First Amendment right on my property. You do not have a First Amendment right to come in my house and start screaming. Again, like I said, which one of the rules was it, 11 or 12 or whatever it was? You stepped over the line big time. You screwed up. Even when Don Lemon was talking about we have a First Amendment right. No, you don't. You don't have a First Amendment right in your house. Maybe your own house, but not somebody else's house. And that was somebody else's property. So, yeah, I think we're going to see some arrests here, but we need to see them quickly. And I think even Don Lemon knew he screwed up as well, because today, all day, he's been backtracking and trying to say, I'm a journalist. You know, you still don't have the right to be there. You just can't come into another person's home and disrupt it. If I'm watching a football game tonight and somebody comes walking in the front door saying, "Oh, no, you don't have that right." You might leave with holes too, by the way. Leak a little bit. Let's continue.
Into Minneapolis a little bit ago and did some reconnaissance on the ground. I'm speaking to an organization there that's gearing up to for resistance.
All right. So this is important, and it may seal the doom for Don, is because he kept saying all day today he didn't know what was happening. He was just being a journalist, just reporting it. He didn't know. Okay.
Since in protest, I've been pleasantly surprised to see the community coming together. Diverse community. If you see this, when we first pulled up, we're like, wait a minute, which operation are we at? And
that's what I'm talking about too. I was surprised to see the community come together. All 30 of them? All 30 people of the community had come together. Minneapolis has 470,000 residents. Where are the other 570,000 or whatever, 470? Where are they at? And this goes back to what President Trump, is this what you guys really want? Because from what I see, as I'm looking here, I'm seeing like 30 people. So where are the other 30? Where are the 30 people who are out on the street protecting their ideology, who don't want this crap happening? Where are you at? Oh, we're just living our lives. No. That can't be anymore. Is this what you want? He's asking the people of the area, is that what you want? Do you want those people to be representative of what you believe and how you think you should live? I can't help you. You're not helping yourselves. Why is that representative of the community? Because they're the only ones who showed up. You can't win if you don't participate. You can't win if you don't practice. You can't win if you're not in the game. You can't sit home in your nice fireplace with your nice bearskin hoodie and your blankie and watching something on TMC and looking at Jimmy Stewart or something while these people are getting all the publicity. Because we don't know what the city really wants at this point. We assume, because we're not talking about the money, which I'm sure everybody cares about the fraud, but we're like, they're protesting, so what? Where are you at? You got to get in the game. It's
out because we're like, well, this is kind of MAGA coded, right? Saw the American flag or whatever, but these are resistance protesters. They're planning an operation that we're going to follow them on. I can't tell you exactly what they're doing, but it's called Operation Pull Up. And it's Sakima Armstrong, and she has been doing this since George Floyd.
So this wasn't spontaneous. We've been doing this since George Floyd. It is now something we do. I don't know, go back and read the 10, 12 rules and see which one that goes to. See, the problem with this is, and I'm going to say the words you because, I'm talking about you, not you personally. You didn't know it was coming. You didn't know that this is something that they would do. Now, I hope every church in the country has people meeting at the front door and stopping people from coming in. But until yesterday, you didn't know that this is something they do. You didn't know that they were out there planning and doing stuff and getting ready to barge in. The Minneapolis police aren't going to tell you. Don Lemon I can't tell you where we're going. But they're planning stuff. And you weren't. See, the thing with me is, we all know each other when we go to church. Hey, how you doing, Sheila? Yeah, hey, Bob, how's the family? Doing well? Yeah. Oh, look at Freddie, man. He's gotten big. He's got his soccer uniform on. We also know there ain't a whole lot of people in here that ain't supposed to be here. If all of a sudden 60 people show at once, like a freaking bus pulled up, hey, who are you? See, they don't expect the church to say that because every time you go to church, hey, brother, nice to see you this is your first time here. You know what? Do me a favor. Fill out this introductory card and one of us will get a hold of you, okay? Can you do that? Nice to see you. Oh, hey, nice to see you. Fill out this card. Not anymore. Who are you? You don't look like you're from here. Oh, Bear, we can't do that. That's profiling. Okay, then you get what you get.
Ante Wright and others, where they surprise people, catch them off guard, and hold them to account. And so,
surprise them and hold them to account. Rules for radicals. Here we go. Go make you use your rules against you. By the way, how are you holding me account? I don't have anything to do with George Floyd, and I definitely don't have anything to do with being an illegal from Somalia. So how are you going to hold me to account? Isolate, personalize. It's about you. You need to step. It's the funniest thing about this is the protesters are standing up and telling you need to be vocal about something that we see as being wrong, but you're not even there. These are the worst people for Don Lemon and these people to be talking to because they're not even standing up for stuff they do believe. How are you going to convince these people to stand up for Renee Good when they're not standing up for their own damn family? We got to get home. Oh my God, we got to get out of here.
that's what we're doing here, and then after we do this operation, you'll see it live, and these operations are surprise operations. Again, can't tell you where they're going.
A few moments later.
MAGA administration and the fake news MAGAs are losing their mind over something that's not even true. So let me just make it clear, because this assistant attorney general, I don't know, gosh, what's her name? It's something Hammett.
Don't worry, you're gonna learn her name. You say her name, Don. You say her name, because you're about to learn who she is.
Dylan, or whatever. So I had no affiliation to that organization. I didn't even know they were going to this church until we followed them there. We were there chronicling protests. Once the protest started in the church, we did an act of journalism, which was...
You lying. Let's assume the first half of what he says is true. I didn't know where they were going. I was just following them. Okay, so I'm following. And as I turn into the parking lot of the church, you pretty much know there's a church there, right? Yeah. And you pretty much know what these people are all about. They go in to disrupt. Yeah, you already filmed that part, that you knew they're going on a disruption mission. And you knew that when you turned the car in, you were pulling into a church parking lot. And nothing in you said, oh, I can't do this. Oh, this is a bridge too far. Hey, 911, yeah, I was going to film these guys doing a disruption, but they just rolled into an innocent church. Maybe can you guys come on over and stop them? I'm going to leave. I'm going to park on the other side of the street. I want no part of this. Okay, sir, I understand. And just so you know, I'm just a journalist, but I'm not going to go in there and antagonize the situation. Thank you. Did he do that? Did he do that, or did his ass go up in there as well and talk to the pastor and like, don't touch me? And then start talking to the pastor. He wasn't reporting. He was antagonizing. We got the video. So you guys are supposedly Christians here, huh? You're Christian. Don't you feel bad? No, I don't feel bad about the Somalis. And yes, I got a nice car. And yes, my wife has jewelry. And you can kiss my black behind. None of that are you going to use against me. We work way too hard for what we do, for what we have, and we do what we're supposed to do. And we help people, we employ people, we give back to the community. So, sorry, that ain't going to work on me. But see, you got some weak-ass Christians who just want to run home with little Billy because they have to keep turning that cheek. I ain't got no more cheeks to turn.
Report on it and talk to the people who were involved, which included the pastor, members of the church, and members of the organization. That's it. It's called journalism. First Amendment, all that stuff. For all of you people who believe in the First Amendment, absolutely.
There you go. He just said it. all you people who believe in the First Amendment. I'm using it against you. I'm using what you believe against you. Hey, you can't bother me. It's First Amendment. You believe in the First Amendment, don't you? You guys are always talking about the First Amendment. Yeah. See, I'm Don Lemon. I just told you I'm using your stuff against you. You guys just heard it and may not even have recognized it. That's a rules for radical staple. Now I hope today, after we've been here an hour and a half, I hope you now realize they are using what you believe against you. He even said it. You guys believe that, don't you? Yeah, so when I shoot you, you can say you believe that too, don't you? Yeah, it's called the Second Amendment. How about some of that? We're going in a really bad place in this country. And I think we're going into a bad place because people don't realize we're getting there. See, it's easy to talk and it's easy to watch and hit the remote and see what's on. Oh, honey, look what they're doing in Minneapolis. Oh, that pretty much sucks. What time's the game start? And you flip away until it shows up in your doorstep. And they walk in your church next weekend because there's got to be copycats. They're going to say, look at all this press that Don Lemon got and our group got because of what we did. And so the media is going to keep doing it, except for the other media not talking about it at all. Using your beliefs against you. He just said the words. You guys believe that, don't you? You believe in turning the other cheek, don't you? You believe in helping your neighbors, don't you? You believe in this and that. And that. Yeah, so you can't hit me. You can't do nothing to me. I got immunity. I'm walking around with the big immunity idol of Christianity. You can't do anything.
Buddhist. There you go. So why don't you talk to the actual person who is in charge of the organization and whose idea it was to have the protests at the church before you start blaming me for stuff for which you have no idea. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
He has one of the most punchable faces I've ever seen. Smug grin, just smiling at you. Oh my gosh, I hope he gets arrested. I hope they put the cuffs on him. And I hope, no, I don't. I hope they don't put him in a cell with Big Bubba because he might like it too much. I think he needs to go in there with some straight guys who want to whoop up on him, who have friends that are pastors. Notice he didn't go into a black Christian church. Wonder why. Notice he didn't go into a mosque. Wonder why. Why did he pick a church, a white Christian church on a Sunday morning? Because they already know what's there. It's like shopping at a flea market or so. I know what's there. It's easy pickings.
Minneapolis, Minnesota, a group of activists led by Don Lemon stormed a Baptist church by the name of Cities Church during their worship time. They were screaming and chanting, disrupting the singing and the preaching because they suspected an ICE officer may attend the church. This is a violation of what is known as the FACE Act, and not only do we condemn this act, but tonight I want to demand that the Department of Justice investigate what took place in Minneapolis, apprehend those who broke the law, and arrest them accordingly.
While I agree 100% with the pastor, if I was sitting in the congregation, I'd have, excuse me. You are correct. The Department of Justice should do this and that. What are we going to do? Huh? What are you going to do, and what are these men in this church going to do to make sure that doesn't happen here? Because that's what you need to be asking the people in your church today, tomorrow, maybe Wednesday night. If you're having a prayer meeting on Wednesday night, go on in, bring your friends. Excuse me, enough. I understand, yeah, it was horrible. What are we going to do? What's our plan? I want to participate. I'm in. Tell me what my role is to make sure that doesn't happen on a Sunday and our services. If we got 4 services, we're going to need 4 times the amount of people. Have you thought about that? In the last 24 hours, have you thought to yourself, All right, so I'm ready. Put me in, coach. What exactly do I have to do to make sure that doesn't happen? And I'm looking for you for direction. And if you tell me we can't be like that, Barry, what do you mean? We just can't meet force with force. Hey, honey, there's another church we need to go look at. And I've done it before. We've left. Nope, you ain't got it. I am not going to be a sitting duck in your church. And I'm ashamed that these people here are going to be a sitting duck in this church. I am not facing the podium unless you're going to take my chair and have me look this way, start staring at the back door. I am not turning my back in a church anymore. If the church that I go in doesn't have side pews, I ain't going in. Nope, ain't going to happen. Nobody's walking up behind me. How about you? It sound really bad. Am I stepping on too many toes? I'd have stood up in that congregation. I understand. You're telling me what Pam and Harmeet are going to do. What in the hell are you going to do, sir? I wouldn't say hell, but I would have been like, sir, what are we going to do, pastor? And I would wait for an answer. And if he didn't give the right answer, I'd look around and go, y'all on your own. I'm out.
We must protect religious liberty in this country. As people meet to worship God, they have been given legally the right to enter, to worship, and to leave their place of worship. The Lord Jesus said, "In the world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer, I have overcome the world."
Wrong passage. Wrong passage. They count on that. I don't know this man. He's probably a great pastor, probably speaks biblically intelligent, probably knows every single passage except for the one of fight back. Except for the one that says, here's how we are going to react if this happens here. I want to make sure everyone in this congregation, from the kid at 1 year old to the 93-year-old great-grandmother, I want to make sure you know every single one of you are faithfully protected while you're in this building. And in fact, I want you to know you're faithfully protected when you're out of this building. I'm going to put on a screen right now a phone number for you to call 911 first and then call the brothers here if you get in trouble. We got a new number for you, 1-800-CALL-A-MILITIA. Let us know if somebody is doing something to you when you need help. We have men in it. We probably got some women in this church who will come to your aid. Until you realize you're in a civil war, you can't fight it. Until you realize you have an enemy, you can't defend against it. Until you realize you have an enemy, you can't plan to attack it. The president changed the name of the Department of Defense to the Department of War. I no longer want to react. I want to be proactive. Pastor, what's our plan? And so you in your home, you in your office, you with your family, you going outside, you going to the movies, you going to the ball game, you better have a plan. I am tired of getting emails and turning on the television and hearing that kind of stuff from people I know really feel and understand the word, but then leave off the part where, okay, what do we do when this happens? How do we practice? Many of you are probably my age or older, and you remember what we used to have in school all the time, grammar school and high school. We had fire drills. I went to a Catholic school and grammar school and a Catholic high school. Taught the word, mass once a day, but we practiced fire drills. And we all, like, the kids used to love it. Oh, we get to run outside in the schoolyard and hang out. Well, yeah, this is pretty. But we practiced it. And then one day in 7th grade, the boiler had a problem and there was smoke filling the school. It wasn't on fire, but you didn't know because you had the fire drill. And it was so cool because we got to go outside and then the fire engines came. We're like, woo! And nobody was hurt. Nobody was overcome with smoke because we had practiced it. We had drills. And churches, for some reason, don't have fire drills. How many times do we have to see a church get shot up or something happens? They've done some things in schools, but they have fought against some of the stuff like arming teachers and putting armed guards in. Oh, we can't do that. Oh, yeah, there's a reason why you can't do that. They're using it against you. The church we go has 2 big burly sheriffs out front. We feel very comfortable. And there are people undercover inside. The church is big enough where they can afford to spend the money on private security and police, sheriffs. So there's probably at any one time in any service, probably 10 people, maybe even more, who are undercover and uniformed right out front. It would never happen. As soon as people would get out their vans or whatever, they'd get stopped before they got in. Doesn't stop me from preparing. Are you prepared? Is your church, your place of business, are they prepared? Again, if you don't accept that you're in a civil war, you cannot prepare for it.
She is working with ICE, and the DOJ says enough is enough. AG Pam Bondi, quote, says this: attacks against law enforcement and the intimidation of Christians are being met with the full force of federal law. If state leaders refuse to act responsibly to prevent lawlessness, the DOJ will remain mobilized to prosecute federal crimes and ensure that the rule of law prevails. DOJ Senior Advisor Alina Habba joins us now. Alina, your reaction to what the AG has said, and that is, we're going to investigate this. Is that the protesters or is that the mayor and governor for inciting?
That's everybody. That's everybody. The FACE Act is a longstanding federal statute that prohibits force, threats, obstruction, any kind of interference with a religious place of worship. And it carries criminal penalties and violations. And what the Attorney General is saying is the truth. She will come down hard. The Department of Justice will come down hard. Our Civil Rights Division will come down hard on anybody who tries to impede or intimidate somebody in a place of worship, or a police officer or an ICE officer. It's just not going to...
Comes out and says they're just speaking up peacefully. They're standing up for their neighbors. And it's not just about resisting Trump. This is about loving and caring for the people they call the city home. Do you feel better about it now?
Okay. Yeah, so we have a mayor who's a Somali sympathizer who we've seen dancing around on stage with their flag instead of an American flag. And I'm supposed to sit here, exactly, and I'm supposed to sit here and believe that that is not creating more hostility, where we have I just spoke with Brian, 200 agents the other night that are leaving their families, going there to keep the peace, to get criminals off the streets, to get people that don't belong here out so that we are a safer country. And they don't even know what they're standing for. And let me also tell you something. The Department of Justice will look into whomever is funding this. It's no different than a RICO action. If you are funding mass protests, if you are having protests that are not righteous protests, there are First Amendment rights that we respect, but that are putting people in risk, not allowing people to go to church, this Department of Justice will come down on you.
All right. So what does that mean? It is now, 24, maybe 26 hours after that incident, where there are so many camera angles and so many different things. And I understand from what Pam Bondi said, they flew different FBI agents in to begin investigating. What else do you need to know? They went into a church, and maybe they got to talk. This could be interesting. Imagine if the FBI went into the church and the FBI went to talk to the pastor, and the pastor said to them, we don't want to make a big deal out of this. See, that's the part we're not hearing. I'm pretty sure they visited the church, they've taken pictures, and then they had to sit down and get a statement from some of the people who were there. And the first person they probably want to get a statement from is the pastor. You know, the guy who's actually facing and seeing them come in. And I want to ask that pastor, number one, were they invited? Number two, are they parishioners, part of the congregation? Did you recognize them? No. Did they come in making noise? Did they disrupt things? Were people in fear? See, they're asking the questions about the act, about the law that states what you can and can't do in a place of worship. And then I'm like, are you willing to cooperate with our investigation? You know, we just want to get back to normal and we're just going to keep going with our, so you don't want to, I don't know this. I'm not saying that, but imagine if that happens. People are going to be screaming for Pam Bondi's head like I feel. They're going to be screaming for Alina Habba's head. And some people need to ask, hey, pastor, did you cooperate? Did people in the church cooperate? Because again, if you're not participating and you're just spectators and you don't realize you're in a civil war, you can't fight it. That's what's so big about this. You know, I'm not a police officer. I'm definitely not in the FBI, and there's Maximus, as some guys can say, but you have to wonder, what are you investigating? What is it that you're now trying to put in a box and put together? We've seen all the video. So what's the next step in this investigation? And what is that trigger that says, okay, we got enough to start arresting these people? You may have to go track them down, but do you have enough to make the charge? And what would you need to be enough to make the charge? Because what I showed, when they showed that congregation and they panned it, I saw men sitting there, just sitting there. And I don't mean to impugn these guys, and I'm not here to cast aspersions, but you got to be ready, man. You have to be.
These protesters burst into a church mid-service yesterday in St. Paul. They started chanting for Renee Good, the woman who was shot and killed by ICE earlier this month.
Renee Good! Renee Good! Renee Good!
As this thing goes through, you may not have seen some of it, but just look at the people in the audience. Number one, a lot of women, a lot of kids. What do the men do as these people start coming in?
The protesters believe one of the pastors works for ICE. Now, the organizer told Don Lemon, who was embedded with the protesters, that it was a clandestine operation meant to disrupt a, quote, key location, demanding justice for Good.
Okay, so you saw the pastor. Hold on. Pastor's standing there. The pastor is in the podium on this freeze frame here. He can see them coming in. At that point, if you don't have a plan, you're screwed. Number two, if you do have a plan, whatever the code word is, fire, green, go, go, go. I'm reading a good book. I'm preaching. I look up, go, go, go. Then there should be men ready to go. Oh, what's going on here? Nope. Nothing. I am not putting my wife, my daughter, and my grandkids in a situation where somebody who can see the enemy does nothing.
Video appears to show a protester inside the church calling the churchgoers comfortable white people and shouting, "You have your nice jewelry. What do you do to stand with your Somali community?" Now,
hey, you white people, you got some jewelry on. Number one, that should have been a trigger. Wait a minute. Are you here to take my jewelry, rob me? Whatever. And you're seeing people just sit there. Let this be a call to arms. Let this be something where you guys now prepare. If the congregation isn't prepared, at least you're prepared. Why are they sitting there? I mean, there's a few people praying over them to God, stop these people. But there's nobody defending them. And you now know they count on that. This is what drives them.
We have not seen Minnesota Governor Tim Walz or Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey issue public statements or respond to the St. Paul church mob. The FBI and the DOJ Civil Rights Division are investigating. Attorney General Pam Bondi writing on X, I just spoke to the pastor in Minnesota whose church was targeted.
All right. So now you might have seen it earlier, but that, again, she spoke to them. She spoke to them. That's going to be important.
Attacks against law enforcement and the intimidation of Christians are being met with the full force of federal law. If state leaders refuse to act responsibly to prevent lawlessness, the Department of Justice will remain mobilized to prosecute federal crimes and ensure that the rule of law prevails. The Justice Department is also probing Mayor Frey and Governor Walz for possibly interfering with immigration enforcement here in Minnesota. President Trump has warned he may use the Insurrection Act. Up to 1,500 soldiers are ready to deploy from Alaska's 11th Airborne Division, which specializes in cold weather warfare. Now, earlier yesterday, Mayor Frey once again said that demonstrations in Minneapolis are peaceful.
In the face of a whole lot of adversity, I'm so proud to be from Minneapolis. They're people.
I have that whole interview to show you in case you haven't seen it in a little bit. But they look right into the camera without any apprehension whatsoever and lie. It's peaceful. Everything's fine. I'm proud to be here. They just ran into a church. You're proud of this. Your enemy is mocking you. Your enemy is telling you your safety means nothing. The civil war that has hatched is based upon them just embracing all of these newcomers and the money they make from these newcomers.
Peacefully protesting, they're standing up for one another. And, you know, like I said, it's not just going to be resistance here in this city. We're not backing down. We're not going to be intimidated.
You got to see that whole interview. But everything he just said there, why couldn't that be what the people who live there are saying? We're not going to be intimidated. We're not going to back down. And we're standing up for each other. Like President Trump said, y'all want to live this way? Because I don't see you standing up. I don't see you protecting each other. And I don't see you not being intimidated. I see one side saying that. I don't see you saying that. Oh, Barry, they shouldn't have to. It should be, known. No. When you see resistance, you must meet resistance. If you don't meet resistance, you are conquered. That's what I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing a city that's being conquered or maybe has already been conquered. I don't see anybody going, I'm taking the front lines. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Let's take back our city. Let's take back our way of life. Tumbleweeds. And that's why the mayor can be so smug. We're not going to back down. We're not going to be intimidated. And we're going to be out there in the street showing people, what about the rest of you? It pisses me off because, like, I go back to the girl I was telling you about. You're getting ground and pound by her husband. Hey, you need some help? Nope, we're good. I'm going to stay with him. I love him. Okay, then you don't need my help. You don't need me to be watching this anymore. I don't need to see your bloody nose and bloody eye. You're like, okay, I'm good. All right, boys, let's go play some hoops or something. They let him lump her around a bit, They call her Lumpy Rutherford from the Beavers. She doesn't want our help. She's okay. She has been conquered. She has submitted. Just like the people in Minneapolis at this point have submitted to the protesters. Because I don't see anybody on these streets saying the otherwise. I see all of us looking at it and going, look, what are these people doing? What in the hell are they doing? I don't see them doing it.
So we have reached out to Governor Walz, Mayor Fry, and also the St. Paul mayor for comment on the mob in the church yesterday. So far, we have not heard back.
This is a developing story, but we are now learning that ICE and Border Patrol agents are being kicked out of this hotel, the DoubleTree.
I would come back to this because, and yet here's another story of people just accepting subversion. Let me talk to you first about Chapter. Chapter, you guys know, a big sponsor of the show. As you know, Medicare is confusing. As someone who recently turned 65 himself, I can confirm this. Keeping track of enrollment periods, understanding all your options, and making sure you're on the right plan takes too much time and energy. And between Medicare scams, corrupt insurance agents, and bloated insurance companies, it's easy to make mistakes that can cost you thousands. That's why I'm happy I just called Chapter when I needed to go and segue into Medicare. One of the things I learned, in case you guys haven't figured it out yet, is your wife is no longer covered. See, I just thought when I moved, she'd be covered. Nope, she's excluded. Didn't know that. Nobody told me that. Crazy. You know, these guys at Chapter are actually honest. They're very busy. I understand it's hard to get through because right now we're in that enrollment period. But they're the only Medicare advisor that looks at every plan nationwide, helping people save an average of $1,100 a year. People are actually relieved when they talk to Chapter. I know for myself, I was relieved because I didn't know certain things that would happen. I didn't know that Robin wouldn't be covered. I wasn't worried about the savings aspect of things. I was more worried about the protective aspect of things. I didn't want to lose prescriptions that Robin has or I have, and I didn't want to have to switch doctors. Didn't want to have to do any of that stuff. And these guys help. You know, supplemental plans just by switching insurance companies can really be a big thing to overcome. These guys won't push you to buy a plan you don't want to, and their support is completely free. So if you're turning 65 soon or have questions about your Medicare coverage, call them at 475-328-3545 to get the most out of Medicare. Most people wish they had just called sooner. All right, so I don't know if you heard this story. This is yet another story of submission, of the community not going out there and complaining. There are ICE agents staying in a hotel, and it's a DoubleTree, not some just little hotel, a DoubleTree hotel. Not sure if it's a franchise or if it was a Hilton-owned, operated hotel, but they booted the ICE agents out. Get out. We don't want you here.
By Hilton in St. Paul downtown. The hotel says it's due to safety concerns. We did confirm with the hotel that all guests did receive a memo that all government employees have to be checked out by noon. The other guests are allowed to stay. The hotel says it's due to safety concerns. We just walked in, tried to book a room. We couldn't. They did confirm that it is closing. We do see a truck now leaving. Now, this is still a developing situation here in downtown Minneapolis. We're also learning that President Trump also has the Army's 11th Airborne Division on standby to be deployed here to Minnesota. So once again, this is still a developing situation on what's going on here on the ground. But just even driving around the city, you see lots of anti-ICE signs, anti-Border Patrol signs, and now ICE agents here will have to find a new room after federal employees are now being kicked out. We're still trying to learn some more information. We'll see another vehicle there also exiting the hotel as we were approaching noon. The other guests are allowed to finish the reservation. Still a developing situation here from St. Paul downtown.
Get out of our hotel. You're not even allowed to stay here. Imagine that. And as you saw, nobody from the community out there protesting and getting in these people's faces. But Barry, we just can't. We're not like that. Okay. You're not like that. You're surrendering. Listen to what this ICE guy says.
We're here to arrest a child sex offender. And you guys are out here honking.
Oh, we're not. No, we're pressing. We're not.
That vehicle right there is honking and impeding our investigations while we're trying to arrest a child sex offender. That's who you guys are protecting. Insane. That's what we're doing. My word's not for you. My My warrant is not for you. I don't have to go. It's insane how you can be
Crazy. They don't even know why they're out there, but yet they're out there telling ICE and blowing their fang danglers and telling people, ICE is here, get rid of them. You know, somebody checked and says that recently Hilton, where'd that go? Hilton dissolved their franchise immediately. So the parent company went to the franchisee, said, take it down. You're no longer a Hilton franchise. You cannot use our name anymore. Go away. This is not how we do business. So you're having like major corporations at this point having to alter what they do because the people on the ground in Minneapolis can't contain their insanity. They're losing money on their own accord because they're afraid of people barging into hotels and making noise and all. You know what's funny? I'm going to tell you a story, another story here. When I was doing my marketing years ago, made a lot of money, had a lot of fun marketing spring break up in Daytona and down here in South Florida. And one time we did a promotion for a brand where they wanted us to build a parachute. What do you call those things? Where the parasail, where the boat would tow you. And they wanted us to stay at the hotel in Panama City. And, you know, in the morning, it was like a hangover medicine. You hang it on the door. We had the whole team come out there. It was fantastic. Great. Fun. The kids loved it. But one of the things you heard every single night about 3 o'clock in the morning is like, can they please just stop? And so one night we're sitting in there and I'm in my room and they're knocking on the door. And I'm like, Renee. I'm like, so I opened the door. What in the hell are you guys doing? You're not Renee. No, I'm very much not Renee. This chick was dancing with people at a bar and kept giving them, yeah, I'm in room 207 at the Hilton. And these guys kept showing up all night. And I'm like, man, she got a lot of free drinks. And she was giving out, yeah, hook me. I'll meet you later. Here, meet me at 207. And all night long, they kept coming. And I'm thinking to myself, this DoubleTree is worried about people walking through the halls looking for ICE agents instead of just putting security on each floor. You know, most of the hotels these days, it wasn't really, I mean, I'm talking all the way back in the early 90s, but the hotels these days, you can't even get on the elevator if you don't have a key card. You're not even going to be able to walk down the hall making noise unless you have the key card to get up there. So why didn't this hotel just deal with it? They surrendered. And now they've surrendered their entire business. Hilton says, we're done with you. Bye.
Minnesota, a major escalation overnight. The Washington Post and ABC News are reporting that the Pentagon has put hundreds of active duty troops on standby to potentially deploy to Minnesota. These troops are with the Army's 11th Airborne Division in Alaska, specializing in cold weather operations. Temperatures in Minneapolis, for those wondering, are hovering around 0 degrees this morning. Meanwhile, the Justice Department is opening a criminal probe, CNN is told, into Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, as the state's largest newspaper warns, quote, Minnesota is under siege. And joining us now is the Democratic Mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey. Mayor Frey, what is your response to this breaking news that there are 1,500 active duty U.S. soldiers on standby to deploy to your state?
This act was clearly designed to intimidate the people of Minneapolis. And here's the thing. We're not going to be intimidated. If the goal here is safety, we've got many mechanisms to achieve safety.
Are you guys over this guy yet? Are you over even Jake Tapper with his scorn-looking face? He knows the guy is lying. He has to perpetuate it because he's getting paid. Meanwhile, Jacob Frey, you could literally refute every every word of every sentence that he says. He is typical Saul Alinsky candidate right here. We are not going to be intimidated. It sounds like you guys are the ones doing the intimidating. I don't see anybody but the protesters who are not being peaceful out there intimidating people.
And the best way to get safety is not to have an influx of even more agents, and in this case, military, in Minneapolis. Right now, we have about 600 police officers, and they've got 3,000 or so ICE agents and border control. That they are now talking about deploying 1,500 military. This is, well, it's ridiculous, but we will not be intimidated by the actions of this federal government.
Earlier this week, the Minneapolis Star-Tribune editorial board wrote that your state is, quote, under siege, and compared the situation in Minneapolis to a, quote, military occupation. Is that how you see it? Is Minneapolis being occupied by the federal government?
Invaded, under siege, occupied, use whatever word or superlative that you want to attach, but the bottom line...
How about the superlative of bullshit? Yeah, I can't say the whole thing. The only reason he can say that is because the other 470,000 people who are in Minneapolis who aren't out there telling the world, no, we don't feel like it's an occupation. We don't feel this way. The world is getting one side of the story. That's what you really have to understand. The world is being told we're under occupation. We have been invaded. The mayor, the governor, Amy Klobuchar. I don't see 400,000 people talking just the opposite. So your story's not getting out. You want to know how bad it is? I just happened to get this sent to me, and I want to make sure that everybody can see this and hear it. Give me 1 second, because I have to not edit it, but I have to make sure the volume is correct on it, because I want you to hear every word. This is from a guy that we just talked about earlier today, who is now saying, no, everything's fine. It's because of, well, I'll let him describe the people in church.
And there's a certain degree of entitlement. I think people who are, in the religious groups like that, it's not the type of Christianity that I practice, but I think that they're entitled, and that entitlement comes from a supremacy, a white.
We know what kind of Christianity you practice, if that's true, because if you were truly practicing Christianity, I can't go there. If I say it, I might get in trouble. But I think you know what I mean. I think you know what I mean. You see, you found that Christianity that says it's okay how you live your life. You found that Christianity that fits the box you need to put on. I don't know that Christianity. The Christianity I know slaps me upside the head every time I try to think about doing something, or if I don't do that. What do you mean? Can I get away with? No. And I'm not talking about anything marital. I'm just talking about day-to-day stuff. Looking at a contract, bitching at a contractor, trying to beat him up over a price. No, man, just be fair. Just do business right. Okay. But if I do it, I might be able to get it cheap. No. Okay. But we know what kind he's talking about. If you know what I mean. I'm sure some of you in the chat actually do. But the church is a white supremacist?
Supremacy. And they think that this country was built for them, that it is a Christian country, when actually we left England because we wanted religious freedom. It's religious freedom, but only if you're a Christian and only if you're a white male, pretty much. And so, yeah, I absolutely 100%, but it's an intimidation tactic. And, I said, I don't understand how I've become the face of it when I was a journalist.
Did you hear right there? Did you see the Alinsky rule once again? And how he twisted the entire thing to make the church the bad people, the parishioners the bad people. The parishioners, they offended him. Those white supremacists sitting in those pews. It's their fault for my anger. If they weren't such entitled white people, then we wouldn't have to worry about this. If you don't recognize it, then you succumb to it. Back to, what's his name? Jacob Fry.
What is taking place is designed to intimidate. It is not fair, it's not just, and it's completely unconstitutional. But one of the beautiful things that's taking place is that the people here in Minneapolis are not just resisting. They're standing up. They're standing up for their neighbors. They're loving people. They're making sure that they got a ride to the grocery store, a safe walk to their car. They're making sure that they have those basic necessities that they need, because we got a whole lot of people that are afraid to go outside at the risk of getting torn apart from their own families. And so in the face of a whole lot of adversity, I'm so proud to be from Minneapolis. I'm so proud to be the mayor of this awesome city with these extraordinary people. They're peacefully protesting. They're standing up for one another. And, you know, like I said, it's not just going to be resistance here in this city. We're not backing down. We're not going to be intimidated.
So you've watched enough of this stuff as they're showing it over and over on television. What's peaceful about this? Here, let me show you some more here.
It was 11 years ago. It was the 11-year anniversary, actually, on Sunday. And it's remarkable to see that sort of thing in America, to watch people disrupt, frighten children, harass churchgoers who are simply trying to worship God. This is not a political church. This is a church that worships Jesus, loves one another, seeks the good of their neighbors. And instead of going to normal Sunday, they have loud, angry, vile people screaming and chanting at them. As he said, it was shameful.
You wrote that this reminds you of the kind of conflict that you see in the book of Acts in the Old Testament.
Yes. And I mean, when you read the book of Acts, this is the sort of thing you see. You see the early Christians facing riots and mobs. You see government officials either complicit in those lawless actions or at least feckless in the face of them. And so I think that there are many parallels between the kinds of things we're seeing in our own streets and what we see in the Bible. And that is an encouragement to me as a Christian, because it means that God has seen this before and that we can trust him with it, and that we ought to, instead of shrinking back in fear, be bold and continue to pray and ask for God's help to speak the word of God with boldness.
Well said.
Not enough. Not enough. If people don't realize they need to rise up, they will be overcome. She's showing on the screen what I was just about ready to show you. Tim Walz has decided he's going to respond.
Breaking just a moment ago, the office of Minnesota's governor, that's Tim Walz, just responded to the federal probe into what went down at that St. Paul church. The spokesperson says, quote, the governor has repeatedly and unequivocally urged protesters to do so peacefully. While people have a right to speak out, he in no way supports interrupting a place of worship. Fox News legal editor Carrie Orban is with us now. Carrie, we flagged off the top of the show that, the governor had not weighed in yet, had not said anything publicly about what went down over the weekend. What do you make of his response?
Who walked into this service. What do you think about the governor's reaction? Would you expect something a bit stronger and potentially that these individuals would face charges, because there are laws on the books that prevent this?
Absolutely. And I think while the fundamental blame lies on the agitators themselves who chose to do this, who coordinated it, planned it, it was a brazen and intentional invasion. They sat through the first half of the service before disrupting it. I do think that some of the blame lies on Governor Walz and the mayors in Minneapolis and St. Paul, who have been encouraging this sort of lawlessness as these law enforcement is seeking to carry out their lawful mission. The government is responsible to secure the border, to remove illegals. This is a lawful thing to do. And yet the governor of Minnesota has been encouraging them to urgently and loudly protest these actions. And now it's not simply disrupting law enforcement actions, it's following law enforcement agents to their places of worship, harassing their families, scaring their children, anyone who's associated with them, demanding that they denounce them. I mean, these are terrible tactics, and it is shameful that the governor would be so tepid in his condemnation.
Pastor Rigby, thank you very much. Good to have you with us today, sir.
So what do you guys think? Are you just prepared to let this continue? I mean, most of you probably haven't had to deal with it in your churches or your communities. But the problem with it is it's coming to your church. It's coming to your community. They don't think that Minnesota is being occupied by white supremacists. They believe the entire country are white supremacists. They even consider people like me twisted, brainwashed black people who are white supremacists. I'm married to a white woman, so I can't count anymore. And I don't think enough I don't think enough people who are doing podcasting and covering this stuff are covering it for the people. Meaning it's easy to put some politician on and blah, 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 blah. And it's easy to say it's bad. But what are we going to do about it? Because I sincerely, the reason why I'm spending time on it today is I don't want it coming to you, where you live, where your family worships, without you understanding what you need to do. See, that guy she just talked to on Fox was talking about they need to do this and they need to do that. And that's, again, another Alinsky rule. They're telling you, we don't know what to do. We got to let these guys take care of it. We got to let, the police department who ain't answering 911 calls take care of it. If this is your only protection, where is it? Oh, if this is your only protection, if this is what your action plan is, you're screwed. The police, and Maximus would tell you, they just come after it's already happened. They show up after they get the call that something has happened. You can't say, hey, listen, there's a bunch of people down the street and they're getting out of their vans and stuff and they're heading this way. Can you come over? Well, have they done anything? No, they'll call us back after they do something. You see, the first line of defense is you. But even more so, as they say in football, maybe offense can beat defense. Maybe you can be your own Department of War instead of being Department of Defense. Understand what you need to do to be proactive. Just saying.
Illegal aliens when we're out there looking for criminals. You want less collateral arrest? Then let us in the damn jail. Fry and Waltz could fix us today. Let us into jail so you can arrest a public safety threat and the safety and security of a jail rather than forcing us into the street to find.
And that I wanted to show you because the Limited Interaction Act that President Trump needs to do, that's it. See, people are looking for him to come in and beat on the protesters and everything. They're nothing. They're insignificant. They want to burn down the city? Go ahead and burn down the city. That's not what we're here for. They're not interfering with us. I wanted to make sure you understand that. When they go crazy and they start burning stuff, I don't give a shit. No, I'm in Boca. I don't care. What do you want? Well, I want these illegals taken out. Okay. Well, then Tom Homan and everybody else says if we just got to the jails, we'd be good. And when at that point, we know, different people and we go to the houses. Well, I'm not concerned about them extracting from a house or someplace because I'm pretty sure if he brought out the military and they did the cordon off and the guys went in and took it, they're good, gone. I think this is what's coming. I think the courts and the jails are going to be taken over. Can you imagine? And they probably don't see this coming. Maybe I shouldn't have said it. But I heard what Tom Homan said. If he just let us in the jails, well, what if he just took the jails? What if that was what the move you make? We're just going to go in and take over control of the jails. I'm like, that would be brilliant. Then you get all the records, you get everything else. You go ahead and put in your own system. You guard the jail accordingly, and then you know where all the bad guys are because you get the court records as well, and we know exactly where everybody is, or their last address, and where they work. I don't need to deal with these protesters. I don't care. That's not my concern. Burn, baby, burn. Does that sound selfish? Maybe, but you got 470,000 other people in town who should be supporting and protecting their own businesses and schools and everything else. Our objective is to get these people out of here.
These bad guys.
What's your response to that, sir?
I'm going to take the most easy position I think I've ever taken. Hey, in Minneapolis, we're anti-murder. Second most easy position, we're anti-rape. Third most easy position, we're anti-crime. You can't do those things in Minneapolis, and if you do, we investigate them.
How about the easy thing you could do and just do what he asked? I mean, you didn't even answer the question. Even Jake Tapper's like, hey, just let us have access to the jail. Did you hear his response? We're anti-murder, we're anti-crime. That's not what I asked you. We need access to the jail to get these people out of here. And he's, I don't know. We already do. He did everything except answer the damn question, the easiest one. Answer the question. Why can't they have access to the jail? And you look at Jake Tapper's face. He knows. He knows. Look at that sappy dog face looking right there, instead of saying, I just asked you a question. Can you not answer the question? Why are you dancing around this question? Why can't we have access to the jails?
We prosecute, you charge, you arrest, and you put the people in jail. And by the way, we have partnered extensively with the federal government to get the perpetrators of violent crime off our streets. And we've seen great success in doing that. In fact, on the north side, one example, we worked with the ATF and the FBI and the DEA and a number of different entities to successfully drive down shootings to record lows. So do we partner to get the bad guys? Of course we do. Here's what we don't partner on. We don't partner to just yank random people off the street because they happen to look Latino or they happen to look Somali.
That's not what he asked you. The question, see, this is where a good reporter, a journalist, would sit back and go, I understand what you just said. That's not what I asked you. Why not give ICE access to the jails? Jacob Fry and Waltz don't want any part of answering that question. How can that be? If you're so concerned about your community, why wouldn't you, the guys who are actually already behind bars? So if they're behind bars, then you've already found reason to arrest them. So if they're behind bars, before you let them out, why not let ICE have them? But otherwise, everything you just said there is complete BS. If you're concerned about the safety, why are you not concerned about letting these people roam free? And even Jake Tapper's smart enough to realize, man, this guy's he's full of crap. He's dancing around this.
We don't partner to do constant checks of passports, requiring people to bring their passport or all this identification around with them all the time. I mean, that's not America. Not to mention, I want our police officers not hunting down a father who has done nothing wrong. I want our police officers working to stop violent crime and prevent carjackings and do all this, the basic stuff that you need to do in a city.
None of which you just got asked. Why aren't you giving ICE access to the people? Your police officers who have done the job in the city that you just spoke of have put these guys behind bars. Why does it end when they end up being Somali or from another country? Do you say, I understand you guys did a good job, but that's not the job we want you to do. Open the door, let them out. It's very easy to question these people, and that's why I get pissed off with Ashley's like, you want to talk to this person? Nope, no interest. I'm not here for you to pontificate. I got to ask you a question, answer the damn question. Why are you letting these guys out of jail? Why can't ICE come in? But until one of these $20 million a year reporters gets in there and asks the questions, it's just propaganda. And you let Jacob Fry so uncomfortable. I would ask him, are you feeling uncomfortable? My eyes are right here. What's all that? You're the mayor. You've talked on stage, right? Yeah, okay. Look at me. I'm the asker now. I'm the person asking the questions. Why are you not letting these people get introduced to Tom Homan? Simple question. Because you're a liar and you're kissing the butt of all of these illegals.
And so, no, I don't think Homan understands.
I don't want to talk to somebody who's doing this. Remember the police officer last week, and he just had his head down. Why can't you keep your head up if you believe what you're saying and just talk? You know, it's very hard sometimes to spend 2 or 3 hours talking into a camera and remembering you got to keep your eyes there. People are looking at you right there. Those people right there are looking for you to make eye contact with them. And when you're giving an interview, imagine if I did the whole show. Well, you know, Trump's really bad. You guys would tune out. He doesn't even believe what he's saying.
And the basic dynamic as to how stuff works in Minnesota here. But the bottom line is, as we know, this is not about safety. It's not about crime. This is about intimidation. And in Minneapolis, we're not going to be intimidated.
That interview went on for, I don't know, about 9 minutes. I cut it down to like, because it was the same shit the whole time. We're not going to be intimidated. We're not going to be intimidated. Number one, it ain't about you. Why is it about Jacob Fry? Why is it about the protesters? Why do you have a reason to be intimidated? Why are you concerned? See, these are the things they can't answer because the reality behind the situation is somebody has told these people, this is what you better do. You are looking at submission. When people talk like this and they can't look you in the eye and they keep looking down and they're trying to find the words like it's written on the table here or something, it's because they don't know what they're saying and they're been told, just say this, say you're not going to be intimidated and we always cooperate and blah, blah, blah. But the question means nothing because you already know what you're going to say. You've seen some of the interviews I've had with people. If you can't answer the question, you look away, you look down, and you go right back to your coined answer. It's disgusting. I hate it.
And look, based on their public statements, it's pretty clear that, and based on the statements of officials at DOJ, it's pretty clear there is concern that these two guys have used their positions and their public statements to try to obstruct the execution of federal laws. Now, whether that rises to a crime, I don't know.
Give me an example.
I showed this a couple of days ago, but it's now with everything we've seen, it brings it back to the forefront. We're talking about a CNN show with Abby, and Scott Jennings says this, like I showed you before. We're all junkies. We're all news junkies. We've seen all this. Maybe not all you guys, but we have to go through, just all kinds of different scroll. That one, and we'll just keep scrolling. We've seen it all. I see more about CNN than any other thing because I can't believe some of the stuff they say. She understood he said it. Her job is to quickly deflect and say, it didn't happen. And Scott's like, he said it. Nah, he's never said that.
Where's that clarity?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they've both made numerous public statements that have made it perfectly clear that they do not want federal laws to be enforced in Minnesota, and that they flatly said they don't want ICE there enforcing federal immigration laws. They both said that. They have literally both said, ICE, leave Minnesota. In fact, Tim Walz said we're on the third day of Gettysburg at one point.
He did not say that.
They had to have seen it. I've seen it. I've played it. He did not say that because it doesn't matter because it follows with Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals. He didn't say it. It's not true. Nope, didn't happen.
Okay, sorry, but he didn't say that. Jacob Fry has said,
when things look really
I gotta rewind that a little bit. I didn't notice it till just. Hold on, what's this? Wait a second.
He did not say that either. Okay, sorry.
Scott's like, are you kidding me? We're at a national television show. Are you really saying that? I've heard a lot of shit here, Scott, a lot of stuff here, Abby. You've talked a lot of crap, but are you telling me and telling the world he didn't say it? He couldn't believe the BS that came out of her mouth. Oh, my goodness.
Sorry, but he didn't say that. Jacob Fry has said,
when things looked really bleak, it was Minnesota's first that held that line for the nation on that July 3rd, 1863. And I think now we may be in that moment.
To be clear, he is referring to a Minnesota regiment during the Battle of Gettysburg. Hyperbole is one thing, but this makes things far, far more dangerous.
It makes it dangerous because, in case you don't know, the Battle of Gettysburg was fought during the Civil War. The Civil War was what he's referring to, and Abby didn't want any part of that. What that inference meant, what he was trying to say, what he was alluding to. Well, if it came out of his mouth, maybe you should just understand we're in a civil war. I am going to keep saying this until I see other from our government. And I mean like the Democrats who just do nothing but lie and give insults and everything else. The cue ball head says we need to impeach Kristi Noem. She doesn't know what she's doing. And now they're saying they're going to shut down the we're going to talk about that tomorrow, just to get you guys in advance. Get ready for the Civil War. Get ready for what may happen in a couple weeks. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. They want to shut the government down yet once again. Why? Because they want to completely defund ICE. And, you know, we've been talking about, you know, the going with eliminating the filibuster. Well, I've understood and I've been hearing that there's probably 6 or 7 senators who don't want to do it, who are rebuking Trump. They don't want to give Trump that kind of power. We're in a bad way. Yeah, Civil War time for sure.
Jokes about people in prison in El Salvador. I mean, these things are, they speak to the heart of Americans and what we see people are going through. It's not a political standpoint to me. You know, we try to see the humanity in people, and it doesn't seem like people on the right side are capable of that. This is what people voted for. We knew very well who Trump was during the first term, where he had the family separation policies, where he was putting children in cages. People voted for that again and again. I'm done pretending that there are people out there who will see this and be outraged by it.
We're not. You don't have to pretend. We'll tell you. All 77 to 80 million of us, we're not outraged. We don't care anymore. We need to fix this country. You see, the problem with the liberals is they keep thinking that they're going to convert some of us. And the problem with that is that they see some of the black pillars who keep saying, oh, I'm done. I voted twice. I can't do it again. You know, this many people. You just saw the poll come out that 90% plus are still with Trump. But they make it as though, I can't believe he's doing it. This is what we voted for, honey. We were hoping this would happen. In fact, the people, and this is what the media doesn't understand, the people who are upset with Trump are upset because it's not enough. His MAGA movement would be even bigger if they did even more. You see, that's something I think a lot of people don't understand. Whatever there are in terms of black pillars, whatever it is and people are disgruntled with Trump, they will come right back as soon as the switch gets flipped. Oh, so you're marching Hillary and Clinton in for a deposition. Oh, you're arresting this person and that person. Oh, the grand jury down here in Florida is indicting this person and that person. Oh, you're going to go take Don Lemon and put him in a back hole someplace. Oh, once he starts doing that stuff, then the people who were upset are going to come back as well. They don't get it. They think they have an opportunity here because there's some people who are upset, not realizing the people who are upset just want more. They want to see more happen. We're not satiated. We're not full yet. We need to see more. And we want to eat more. We want more of your heads on a pike, metaphorically speaking. That's what we want. That's what some of the disgruntled people, you're never going to convince them like, oh, you guys aren't being, passionate enough about Renee Good. I slept very well that night. I continue to sleep well. Only thing that keeps me up is a 12-pound chihuahua.
The polling numbers just show that's not true. People will say they don't like it, but they showed up to the voting booth and voted for him again and again. Of the of nearly 70,000 people in ICE custody right now, less than, I believe, 10% have.
All right. So this is the new Alinsky thing. Now they're going to try and openly lie to people's faces and say the data isn't real. And it went from this show was the reason I put this in, this was the first time I heard it where they're now challenging actual data. And then it happened again yesterday. You'll see it.
Criminal convictions. I mean, the data shows time and again that this is an unfair, inhumane policy. And so, no, Abby, I don't think this is going to make a difference. Scott.
Okay. You saw Scott sitting there because he'd be sitting there like that. It's inhumane and it's not fair. It's not a fair fight. Like I told you earlier, I don't care about fair fights. I'm not in a ring and a sporting event. I'm not playing MMA where there's a submission. Don't break my arm. I'm out. I'm tapping out. That's within a ring. We're not here to allow you to tap out. We're not here for it to be fair. We're here because we want to see Trump. What did he tell us? I want to obliterate the deep state. So if President Trump is talking the word obliterate, and you're talking fair, there's a chasm there, honey. You think this is some sort of, match. It's a big cage match or something. No. We don't want to be fair. We want to obliterate you. That's what we voted for. Don't you understand? That's why we don't care. We don't care if there's some attrition and Renee Good ended up getting, worm to be worm food. We want to obliterate the deep state, not negotiate with it. I know, here I go again, stepping on some toes. Oops, let me pull back here because some people aren't ready for obliteration. Wake up. We're not in a boxing ring. We don't have no referees. We want full obliteration. That's what we voted for. At least that's what I thought we all voted for.
Respond to what?
What she just said.
Look, I'm not going to respond to ad hominem attacks on 70 million Americans who decided to vote Republican in the November 2024 election. I don't think it's right. You come out here, you call people liars, you call anybody who votes Republican, you say they don't have a moral compass. I didn't say anybody who votes Republican. I said the people who voted for Donald Trump. Okay, that's.
I can't. I didn't say that people are Republican. I just said that the MAGA people and people who voted for Trump are scumbags. I don't know how Scott does it. I'd have looked at her and said, bitch, please. Oh.
He's a Republican, and he won in November with Republicans who voted for him. So don't back away from your
I'm not backing away. I don't think they have a moral compass.
That's how you feel, but I'm not.
You don't ever have to worry about me backing away from that point.
I don't feel like I have to respond to these attacks. In fact, I think you ought to ask her if she really believes 70 million people lack a moral compass.
I believe people who saw what Trump did and voted for him lack a moral compass.
Is it?
Well, you're in for a whole lot of hurt. If you believe that people who voted for Trump, all 70 or 80 million people, lack a moral compass, you're about to find out. You're going to find out for sure. You don't have to think about it. I get riled up with this stuff because I don't think enough Trump supporters understand the definition of obliteration. I think there are too many people like people in that church who may have voted for Trump and don't understand. We're not looking to side with these people or rationalize with them or negotiate with them or appease them. If this guy is telling you he wants to obliterate it and you voted for obliteration, then why aren't you down and on with that entire scheme of obliteration? Look up the definition. Obliteration, nothing left. Not a little bit, not a rebuild like Miami Dolphins. We want to obliterate it. That's something we need to start getting back into our foresight here. Maybe I need to have Faith make that a part of every intro. Are you ready to obliterate your opponent? Are you pledging allegiance to obliteration? I pledge allegiance to obliterate the Democrats and everything for which they stand. Because I'm going to start taking that pledge like you should. I'm not afraid. The country means more to me than to worry about somebody calling me the N-word or anything else. I want you obliterated. If you get on one of these shows, I'm not here to play nice.
You say local law enforcement's being told to stand down. Is that in response to attacks on ICE? These situations, you're saying the locals are not showing up, they're not controlling the situation?
Local leadership told citizens to call 911 when they see ICE. They did not tell citizens to call 911 when they see ICE officers being assaulted and attacked. And to the contrary, police officers are not anywhere to be seen around the ICE facilities. When the ICE officers are out doing the work they have to do, there are no cops around. And that is not the way that it takes place in cities across this country. In virtually every place we go in, we get support from law enforcement because that's their job. And again, this is not an indictment of the men and women who are police officers in that city. This is an indictment of the leadership that's telling them what to do.
See, when I hear that, and I've heard that with Hannity and everything, this is an indictment of them. It's not. No, it is. Let's just call it. Can we just say it? You're either on board with obliteration or you're not. You can't be a little bit pregnant. If you're not acting in the best interest of the people that you've sworn to protect and serve, all of them, then, what's this?
Out at Whipple every day fighting for the humanity, standing for our people. You got your jewelry, you have your nice clothes, but what do? What do you do to stand for your Somali and Latino communities? I'm not going to comment. You have no comment, exactly.
I have no comment. All right.
You see what I mean? I just happened to look up there and I got no comment. No, I have a lot of comment. And you don't understand. We're here and we're about to throw down. You're in my Father's place here. What goes on here ain't like Vegas. I hope you take it with you. So right now, I'm going to have to give you the ass whooping so you can take that with you. I want to obliterate you.
And that's why President Trump is looking at all available options and will continue to do so, because the local leadership is not letting local law enforcement do their jobs.
Sure, but you just said millions. What's the breakdown of the percentage of those who you have in custody who have actually committed a criminal offense versus just the civil infraction?
So here she goes again. Not she again, but now here's that tactic again. And you got a CBS host who is going to call the Secretary of Homeland Security or Director of Homeland Security a liar to her face.
Every single individual has committed a crime, but 70% of them have committed or have charges against them on violent crimes and crimes that they are charged with or have been convicted of that have come from other countries that are here illegally, first of all, and then they have committed a criminal act while they've been here or in their home countries as well. It's not 70%.
You insufferable wench. You're reading off of some piece of paper, and it's not 70%. See, because the people watching your miserable show want you to, tell us it's not that bad. We'll believe you, Margaret. Not bad, Kristi Noem. Tell us the truth here.
Yes, it is. It absolutely is.
70% of everyone
you
you
guys
have
keep
detained
changing
has...
your percentage. You pick and choose what numbers you think work, but that is the facts, is that 70% of the people that we have detained have charges against them or have been convicted of charges, and they need to be brought to justice. And we're going to keep doing that no matter how much you guys keep lying and don't tell the public the truth. It absolutely is that these law enforcement officers are out there every day doing the work to protect the American people, and they will keep doing that because they believe in enforcing the law, which is exactly what President Trump has charged them with.
Okay, well, our reporting is that 47%, based on your agency's own numbers, 47% have criminal convictions against them. But let's talk about the other numbers.
You're wrong again. Absolutely. We'll get you the correct numbers so you can use them in the future.
Well, that's from your agency. Let's talk
after. Don't you hate people who talk under their breath? Don't you hate people who try to dismiss you like, yeah, whatever, yeah, I got this right here. She's the worst. Margaret Brennan, well, maybe Christian Welker, but Margaret Brennan might be in the top 3 worst television. Jake Tapper's up there too. They're incredible. They don't care. I don't know why people from Trump's administration go on these shows, because they're just so dismissive. They're so rude. They would never talk to Jacob Fry or Tom, what's his name? Tim Walz that way. In fact, here's some proof.
The shooting of Renee Good, you went on national television and you said to ICE, get the F out of Minneapolis. Do you regret that language? I mean, that doesn't sound like turning the temperature down.
I don't regret it at all. In the moments before I went out there to do that press conference, I learned that Kristi Noem had already jumped to a conclusion as to the ICE agent's conduct, saying that it was purely self-defense. Minutes or hours later, you had her saying that Renee Good was a domestic terrorist. If I seemed like I was angry and frustrated, I was. And part of my responsibility as mayor is to channel what the people in our city are feeling.
So if your job is to channel how the people in your city are feeling, then you're saying on national television over and over that the couple hundred, I'll even give you 10,000 one day, that those 10,000 people are indicative of what the other 460,000 feel. And he's right to say it. I'll pat him on the back. You're absolutely right. Why would I pat him? Because I haven't heard from the other 460. I have nothing to counter him with. If I was interviewing him and he goes, I'm echoing what the people feel, I'm like, well, I see it. I see them right now on a live shot, man. They're out there again in 5-degree weather. They're out there right now calling everybody traitors, killers, murderers. I see them. And so if he was on the show, there's no way I could refute it. There's nothing I could say at this point, even watching the church video. I don't have any documentation, and I don't have any video, anybody standing up saying that he doesn't represent us. But every time we turn on the television, that's all we see. So this guy is taking that, and they're showing it, and it becomes very hard to counteract that programming, which is what it is, because none of the people in Minnesota are standing up. And I'm going to close this show by just saying to you, if you're not willing to stand up and be counted and be heard, they're going to say your opinion doesn't matter. God forbid you're sitting in a church and that happens. God forbid you're out in a restaurant and that happens. Because when the news comes, they're going to focus on those idiots. And there's nothing to counteract the messaging that they're putting out 24/7. There is nobody in Minnesota organizing a huge protest, which is supposedly peaceful, to say, we don't want this in our town anymore. We're tired of having these protests. We're tired of you people harboring these Somalis. We're tired of you harboring people who aren't supposed to be in this city. We're tired of it. And if it comes to your city and you don't respond, or you respond like they are, which means you're not responding whatsoever, then you're surrendering. And I don't want to be around losers. I don't hang around losers. I don't hang around losers in business. I don't hang around losers in my personal life. I used to. And I realized, hey man, if you want to change your life, you got to change your environment. You can't live there. You can't hang out with those people. You can't be like them. And so you have to turn away. Hey, listen, I'm going to take this road here, and this road here is better for me. And it hurts. It's something that you really have to train for. It's like, man, do I really need to tell these guys stop calling me or just stop answering their phone calls? Yeah. But we've been buds for so long. I can't hang with losers. I always go back to that movie, Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith. And he's walking down the street. He and his kid are living in a bus station or whatever. He's homeless. And he sees a guy pull up with the Maserati and goes, what do you do and how do you do it? Because I want to change my life. And that's why I talk so much about Lear Capital and silver and gold and everything else, because that's what people did for me. What you're doing ain't working. What you're doing right now is not gonna take you further. I remember when I was in college, I was beyond a senior. I was just hanging out, and I was hanging out in my old fraternity house, and one of the fraternity guy's father came to me. He goes, "Hey, how's it working out? You gonna play after you fix your knee up?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm not sure." And he looked at me. I swear to God, this is a true story. And he's like, "What are you gonna do with your life? If you can't play, what are you going to do?" Huh? And then he said this. And he goes, "I'm going to ask you a question. How old are you?" 22. Okay. How much money you have in your pocket? 12 bucks. You got money upstairs in the room anywhere? No. So you're telling me the sum of your life right now is $12. Yeah. Maybe you need to move out and do something. Because if that's what you have at your age and that's all you have in your pocket, you're not going to make it, son. And it was right then. I was like, oh, okay. But even hearing him, I thought I was changing, but I kept doing the same things I was doing. Keep doing what you're doing. You're going to keep getting what you're getting. These people in Minnesota who aren't out there in the street protesting the protesters, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. If you keep doing what you're doing, you will keep getting what you're getting. And you need to remember that as well. If you just turn the other cheek and just pretend like it's nothing happening, because it's not happening in your backyard, and then one day it will, and then what are you going to do about it? I had put up a poll earlier, and I'm glad to see so many votes. So tonight, President Trump, see, I kind of sandbagged some people who didn't know. I put up a poll, and it said, tonight is the college football championship. Should I show it tonight? And we've had 4,500 votes, and 43% of you said, yeah, I'd love to see it and watch and chat. And 57% said, no, not at all interested. Well, for the 43% of you that'd like to join me and President Trump, 43% is enough for me to do it tonight. We will show, unless Rumble turns it off or something, if they say there's a copyright infringement or something. But barring that, I'll do a little bit of news when I come back at 7 or 7:30, and then we'll go ahead and show the game. I forget what time the game is. SB can tell me what time the game is, but I'll go on a little bit earlier in case President Trump is doing any coin tosses or anything, because that would be pretty cool. But yeah, I'm with you. If Trump is going to the game, I'm going to show the game. Never mind the fact that they're playing right here in Miami, and I got to represent the 305 tonight, playing against Indiana. Since Notre Dame's not playing and Notre Dame's in Indiana, I ain't voting for Notre Dame. I mean, for Indiana, I'm going to go in for Miami. So it's Miami versus Indiana, featuring President Trump tonight. And I'll let you guys know the times. And again, I don't control whether or not something can pass the censors or anything like that. So we'll do it over. We'll jump over to Rumble. We'll show the game, the entire game. Every time there's a commercial or something, I'll blink off of it and we'll talk. But for the most part, we're gonna just sit there and have some fun tonight. Fun, Anybody else remember Laughter? Well, who knows where that song came from? Most of you guys are pretty tight. Matter of fact, I shall play the song that he says that in tonight when we jump over. Does anybody remember Laughter? I want y'all to laugh and have some fun tonight, because the contrary is just looking at these nuts. SV says the game starts at 7:30, so we'll go on live. Thanks, SV. So by the way, just want to let you know. Let me finish what I was saying. I'll go live at 7. We'll jump over at 7:30 and get your popcorn and your favorite drink, whether it's alcoholic or soft. Either way, kick up your feet. We'll show the entirety of the game unless they turn us off. And so prepare for it. We'll watch the game. SV just texted me. So you saw earlier in the show, I have my AI assistant who's going to be doing something, but we got real assistant, and starting in February, I don't know if he wants me to say it, starting in February, we're going to, let me just put it this way. You may be seeing more of SV. Winky, wink, wink. I think we're going to do if we can make the technology work, because he's in, Virginia, if we can make the technology work, we're going to see if we can't get SV on live every maybe a couple times per game. I mean per show. For anytime he's got featured or breaking news that he wants to talk about. So that could be coming very, very, very soon. That should be a lot of fun. Imagine that you get to see SV's face as well. I hope he's ready for it, because people are going to come for him. All right, everybody. By the way, last night, if you haven't watched last night, I haven't seen a game like I saw last night in my life. It was simply incredible. And I was one of those guys who said that Caleb Williams was a bust. You know who I'm talking about? He's a quarterback from the Bears, even though they lost. Completely incredible game last night. All right, so let's go ahead and do super chat so I can get you guys out of here. Fikowski says Don Rotten Levin. Big Cat, Barry, would love to listen to the game here tonight. I got to work, so I can't watch it, but would love to listen to it here. All right, it won't be here because you're on YouTube. It'll be on Rumble. So make sure, if you're not going to be able to log in, you guys know what happens. I start on YouTube and then I jump over to Rumble. Now I can show you, Big Cat, right now where you need to actually, I don't have it logged in. Okay, here's what we do. If you can't make it to YouTube tonight, let me go ahead and show you this real quick. All right, and explain it. When we jump, don't go there now because I haven't configured it. So just write it down if you need it. And it's going to be fanfareshop.org/rumble. At about, 5:30 or 6 o'clock, I configure the new show and everything, and it'll have the right forwarding address. So if you just remember, go to fanfareshop.org/rumble at 7:30, 8 o'clock, it'll be ready to go, and you can watch it, because I can't dare show it here on YouTube. Pekoski could be the lemon squeezer. You mean his cell block partner? Chiosop, lock the doors, break the cameras, and peacefully protest back, then go back to prayer. God forgives. I'm going to show you that clip. I think I know what you're talking about. I'm going to show you the clip in, I think it's not Goodfellas. What is it? Bronx Tale. Bronx Tale, love that movie. Where the guy, you'll love it. I can show you that on Rumble tonight, where Sonny takes care of business. Yeah, I think that's what you were referring to. Pekoski, she said you did tell me he is on. Big Cat, everyone please vote yes so we can have a football night. All right, we're doing it. James Hammond, all AI is repetitive and does not use good English. You realize you just didn't use good English, right? Okay. My girl used good English. You know why? Because I wrote it. Stephen Anderson, Isaiah 41, 4, 1 through 10. Fear not, be not dismayed. Thank you. Shiosop, Saul Alinsky, project on to others that which you are guilty of. The Democrats, deep state, and Antifa use the book like a Bible. I hope you guys really spend some time digging into Saul Alinsky, because man is evil as evil can be. I mean, the guy actually, I showed you the video. He actually wanted. I hope he's there. I want to go to hell. Okay. I hope that was arranged. I hope he had a first class ticket. And I know some of you guys is bad, Barry, to wish some. No, I just wish him that what he prays for occurs. I hope his wish was granted. Ruth McCurdy, even God has borders and entry parameters for heaven. Good point. I like that. Redeeming Patriot, Jesus told Peter, an apostle, get thee behind me, Satan. It's not about the man physically, it's about the spirit or thoughts of that man. Yep. Chiosop, most people live in comfort of having someone else take care of it. So does the someone else. The paid have been trained to work outside those norms. Exactly. If you're always looking for somebody else to take care of something, that's a problem. James, Hillary introduced Alinsky and her hero, Margaret Sanger. Both are complete trash. They are based on Karl Marx, also trash. Exactly. Does that say B.F. Thompson? Thank you, Barry and family, for helping us stay sane and stay focused. You're very welcome, and thank you. J3 Michael, in 1981, Mark Levin of the Reagan administration discovered boxes of Alinsky's book, Rules for Radicals, paid for by tax dollars and distributed by the Carter administration. Wow. I never knew that. Wow. Beverly Litton, Barry, I've been getting messages from prominent investors about Musk going public soon with a stake in one of his new projects that's going rise rapidly. Have you heard that? I understand. The only thing I've heard is that Elon Musk may be buying WWE. That would be interesting. I don't know if WWE is publicly traded though. Chiosop, no First Amendment on private property. Nope. C-Arm, look how the crusade started. Exactly. Myrna, Book of Nehemiah had his people carry building materials to build a temple in one hand, carry their weapons on the other for protection versus enemies. Well said. Jim Bob, Barry, there's a song video by Tom McDonald called Brainwashed. In the bridge, Tom's rap is based on Saul Alinsky's 10 Rules for Radicals. Oh, but speaking of songs, if you haven't seen it yet, there's a song I'm going to play tonight. So I'll play, do you remember it, Laughter? And then there's a nice song that's being played now. I forget the guy, Jeffrey Steele, I believe his name, that's called A Voice. And I think it's tonight I'm going to show it because a voice is what you all need to make sure that you exercise yours at this point. Great song, by the way. Where are we? Therese. Medicare supplicant medical HMO found a way to make their money. Med was $974, monthly raise copay to $41. Wow, that's crazy. Brian Newland, music request for tonight's jump over. Phil Collins, I don't care anymore. I have to remember that. Okay, so there's my 3 songs. I don't care anymore. I don't care. Yep, that's one. Chiosop, Jake Tapper, the jockstrapper, says what he is told. He does. And Neo, Barry, thanks for important news. So much evil. Everyone keep prayers. God bless. And Buddy Sanders, my church is open. Oh, you guys can't see that. My bad. My church is open carry. Wow, you must be in Texas. Maybe you're here in Florida. Not really sure. Before I play the after party, I just want to end with you hearing the evil that these people are following. And then we'll go right to the after party.
Play
take the business on the hereafter. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. I've never seen the evidence one way or the other. I don't expect to see it during my lifetime. But if there is, I suppose given a choice, I think I would pick hell. The reason I'd pick hell is because that's where all the have-nots are. You know, the currency of the realm shifts. Over here it's money, over there it's virtue. But either way, if you haven't got it, you're stuck. And I've spent all my life with the have-nots. And once I got into hell, well, I'd start organizing, just like I do down here. And then I'd be in heaven personally, you know, because this is the thing that gives me the greatest happiness in life. And look out, heaven, here we come. I'm sure there are a lot of grievances that people down there have that should be worked out one way or another. Now, I suppose another thing which causes a lot of hate, real hate on me, is it isn't so much what I say, it's the fact that I say it out loud. These are the things that people know, but it isn't considered tactful to talk about it, you know? It's sort of like doing your toilet in public. Well, life's too short to horse around that way as far as I'm concerned. And I think that things would be a lot better if a lot more people did their toilet out in public.
Stand by. Governor Tim Walz has the Minnesota